And we are live. And it is as I feared. OBS does indeed. There we go.
How's it going, Matt?
Good, Carl. Oh, pretty good.
So, Brandon, what all did you guys...
Enthusiasm. Such enthusiasm. Hey. I'm sorry, I had...
That's pretty that is enthusiasm for Matt. You should know that by now.
Well, I can admit that that's his level, his energy level, a constant energy level, but...
So, just so you know, in about half an hour, are we live right now?
We are indeed. I actually just went live right as you popped in.
Wow. I suppose that makes me fashionably late, I suppose. So just FYI, I'm going to have to pop out in about a half hour and take 5 minutes to do some laundry, just so you guys know.
That's fine. That's okay. Like I was telling Matt just now, today I have officially fired a sniper rifle for the first time in my life.
Oh, he did. I'm disappointed that I couldn't make it this time because I knew he told me that he was going to be bringing that, and I really wanted to try it and give it a shot, if you will. So, what was the distance that the target was at that you shot at?
To the wall.
Oh, really? So
yeah,
that's got to be a good 50 yards back or something like that.
Maybe something like that. I don't know. All I know is that as soon as it went all the way back there, I thought, "Oh, okay then." We're
Did you fire while standing or sitting?
He had it set up to where we were sitting, which was probably a good thing.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yes.
And how did you how did it work out for you?
Well, hello there, Robot, my old friend. How are you? Robot Carl.
Robot Carl.
Yeah, you went a little bit robot there for a second.
Did you get any Matt, did you get any weird audio from me?
A little bit, but I've also been getting it from Brendan as well.
Well, I get it all the time from Brendan, so I'm not too worried about that.
Oh, shit. Let's hope it doesn't, because my mic from me on OBS, it feeds directly into OBS, so I'm always crystal clear.
No, you're not.
At least in terms of OBS. But oh well. You sound good now, so we'll hope for the best. We'll hope for the best then. So, this is Tales of the Lost Players. This is Tales of the Lost Players.
Yes,
episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we're facing off against Faceless.
Wow, have we really done 3 of these already?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was Fiona. The second one was a double team of Osiris and Boo Boo. And then the third one was Tiberius and not Breach, the Almighty, because I had forgotten that the Almighty was also played by Keith. So I built 2 of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, in all honesty, he was only there for 2 sessions?
I believe Almighty was only there for 2, yes.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, he was there for the 1 for sure.
So,
but
so now here we have Faceless, and if I recall correctly, Faceless was a swashbuckler rogue, correct?
He was a spotter rogue? Swashbuckler rogue?
I think so. It wasn't, no.
I'm fairly certain he was swashbuckler, yeah.
I think he was, because I don't think he was an assassin rogue.
Because I had it in my mind that we had either recruited him as we were coming ashore, or we had recruited him because we had taken passage on a ship that he was on, and he just decided to come with us. At least that was my personal headcanon. I don't think I ever actually discussed it with Adam or not.
Man,
So
yeah, I'm not sure how he ended up with us.
well, I don't think any of us really did sit down and sort out backstories, which is unfortunate because I mean, Wraith and Smoke had been working together for at least what 2.5 years.
At least, I know that.
Yeah,
Because you were the original, and I think I was one of the original that you had recruited.
yeah,
Is at least what we'd figured out. So yeah, at least 2.5 years prior to when we had started this.
Yeah.
From what I remember, the reverse actually might have been true in the terms of like who was the very first, because if you guys recall correctly, Dragonborn and Tiefling were the invading force, and humans and gnomes were already on the continent at the time, who were persuaded to join the cause.
Oh yeah,
so,
well, in Smoke's personal backstory, yes, it was after the invasion had happened that he. Actually, it was the invasion itself, or part of the invasion itself, that had driven him to join the other side. Because, well, obviously you can't join another side if if they're not there. So, yes, the invading force had already happened, and it was. His own personal nemesis had, unfortunately, Brendan, we never really did get to sit down and discuss this, but I did have it where Smoke's personal nemesis had they had known because he was working with the defense leadership at the time, and had convinced them to pull the troops out of the. Oh, he just disappeared.
No, that's
I think
that
he
was
just
on
turned
purpose.
his camera off.
Yeah, I'm testing this out
okay.
to see if it actually speeds things up a bit. Because if
Okay.
this speeds things up,
Well,
I don't need to show my face. I mean, it's not like the stream can see it anyway. So
well, the stream's not showing it anyway. Yeah. So, Smoke's nemesis was working with the defending army, and he knew that Smoke's father's business. Well, he was visiting his headquarters on the shore on one of the ports, one of the seaports, and so the guy managed to convince the leadership to pull out all the defenses from that location, and the city got overrun, and his father was killed along with some of his siblings who were with him at the time, and that's when he basically swore vengeance and switched over to the other side.
I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them.
I didn't say he doesn't have other.
Oh yeah, that's why I did that. Okay, so not to cut you off or anything like that, but
No, that's right.
But Matt, you know that Hero Forge just added the necklace thing not too long ago, right?
Yep.
Now the strange thing was, when it first came out, there wasn't anything in the tab at all. And then like a day later, I'm on my phone version of Hero Forge, and there are necklaces there. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'll check this out. And then the reload that you just saw on the page was me confirming that, there wasn't some sort of update for the necklaces. Turns out, it is just very limited, because so many of the chest pieces that basically go up to the neck forbid you from having necklaces of any kind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They forbid you from having anything.
Well, it does
of
kind
any
of make
sort.
sense. It does kind of make sense.
It
Now,
does.
what was his AC? I don't think.
It wasn't that
No, well,
high.
yeah, because he's a rogue.
Okay.
They're supposed to be sneaky, stealthy, and you can't see them.
Mhm.
Rather than hey, I'm going to sit here and take this hit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rather than I'm just gonna stand here and get wailed on by
Well,
everybody.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the job of the tank, I have to admit. I mean, and since all the
But then you also,
tank,
yes,
Oh
but you
wow,
also
that
have to
is.
admit a lot of the characters you play end up as fucking tanks, just for the sheer fact of it. It's like, hey,
or no, or you mean end up as like the draw?
We
yes,
That
call them pin cushions.
everyone decides to get pissed off at him because he's a stealth slinger, and they're like, okay, we're gonna switch over and focus on this guy because he's actually hurting us a lot.
and then I just
Yeah,
walk up,
Okay,
and
okay.
then
In
my
my
character walks up
defense,
and smash, smash,
in
smash,
my
and
defense as
ignoring me.
DM, in
oh
my
no,
defense,
I'm not saying that. We're not saying that you're playing the characters wrong at all. It's just that yeah, my characters
No.
have a tendency to like go out in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden everyone looks at them. Oh look, squishy guy.
And my characters tend to be like, hey, why are you ignoring me? Stop. Critical.
Right?
Now it's like, oh, now I'm going to punish you for ignoring me. Critical, critical,
Yep.
critical.
Yeah. Squish.
so
Oh,
here,
yeah. That's a really excellent saber. He did have a saber, didn't he?
yes,
That is
he
an
did.
excellent one for him.
I think I go back to the saber at some point and change it up, but the primary goal here was to get the overall design out of the way.
Yeah, I do like the hood.
Because
I know that he wanted the Vorpal sword. He was like, because I know that he turned to not Orion. Who was the freaking
Drafe.
Were Phoenix? Drafe. I know he turned to Drafe. And he's like, I'm gonna have that sword. and Drafe was like, come and take it, bitch.
he basically said, if you were worthy of it, I would have given it to you.
Well, it's kind of the same principle, but no, that works really well for him.
And then, of course, Drafe decided.
Did you give him the hat? Because I know he had that hat of many faces.
Oh yeah, that one.
I had forgotten of it, so I decided to. No, because the thing is, I just went with the whole like what he would normally look like without the hat, you know, because like he would typically, if he wasn't using a disguise to blend in a crowd, he'd be fucking clinging to the walls and hiding in shadows and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you know, I know that he had that hat, but because he doesn't have the hat, I can easily. Yeah, okay, I could definitely see him with the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him with the black and pink too.
So you're kind of going with the ninja look, huh?
I went with the ninja look more so because I realized that the chest piece itself worked really well for the type of character he overall was, and it just, you know, by direct correlation, ended up looking more like a ninja than it honestly should have been. But if we're talking color scheme wise, I have always known that like a dark blue is much better than a flat black.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to an area that doesn't have any light pollution, all things considered. You go with the dark blues, you go with the navy blues, you know.
Yeah, because they're a little bit sunwashed. Isn't it the hey Matt, isn't it the is it the Marine Corps? Which of the branches has a black shirt and blue pants?
I mean, the Navy's uniform is blue, but
well, because I know that but it's one of either the Army or the Marines, one of those two. Because I know that
for their dress uniform.
Yeah,
it's the Marines is theirs is the black one. You got the Navy's is also black for some of their dress, and then the Army is going back to the old World War II style greens.
Oh, okay.
As in hasn't happened yet, or already has?
As in the first classes to actually get issued them just recently graduated.
I see.
Okay. I do understand. But as I understand it, I heard some Maurice or something like that. But I know that the dress,
But
the uniform
then
was
to
set. The
carry on, yes,
uniform
the
was set
Army did
originally during the
have
Civil War. If I recall, it was
the
set during
Army
the
did
Civil
have
War.
blues.
Yeah.
The Army did have one. The old one before this new one was the black and blue, was the dark blue and
Okay.
black.
Okay. Yeah. Because
That's the one. That's the one I had.
yeah. Because if I understand it, in the Civil War, the troops, most of the fighting, because they were wearing cotton uniforms, which are hot as crap in the summertime,
Yeah.
right? So most of them would just pack up their shirts and just wear the regular like white undershirts, when they were actually fighting, but they had to wear the pants all the time, and because the pants got worn all the time,
the nice wool pants.
yeah, they tended to bleach out, and and the soldiers that have been around for a while, you could tell because they had blue pants instead of black pants, but then of course they would wear their dress uniform, and it was a black overcoat and then the blue pants. And then I think that's why it is that way, as I understand it.
Yeah, now the Army's going to just the straight greens, which look really nice.
I mean, that's good, isn't
it? And they hide so much better in greenery than black and blue does. Minor details, right?
Yeah, I mean, granted that you're not going to go into combat in your damn dress uniform, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
And if you are, something's wrong.
You got caught by surprise, or that's all that you have.
Yeah.
Does he have one brown arm and one white arm?
No, that's the shadow.
The shadows? Okay.
Yeah, you can't actually edit one arm versus the other. It's all connected to the they edited how the paint is distributed for the body a while ago, where it used to be like pure torso, head and ears and legs. Now they've got the actual chest, and then the back basically covers everything from the side and the arms. But yeah. Now obviously I went with the masked look after the fact that I realized it doesn't really look all that good with all of this face.
He
just kind of exposed.
He honestly does look a lot like a ninja, unfortunately.
But he was but there were only so many options that I could pull from the Hero Forge site.
Do they have like a pea coat or a captain's coat looking thing? I mean, I know he wasn't a captain.
Well, they do, but with the exception of the swashbucklers one and the bard's coat,
the only other one,
everyone else has like some kind of weird belt that is just open and fucking hanging down, which I do not like. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea to put on there. Most trench coats do not have that. Most trench coats do not have that fucking belt
underneath. Like they've got one that's the full length coat, like trench coat, but there's no shirt underneath.
And this is bringing it back to what I was talking to you about last week, Carl. They do have a bunch of options, but they don't have the fucking nuances.
And he just cut his nuts off.
Yeah.
He just stabbed himself. Yep.
Yeah, I had an idea, and I'm going with it. You'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Oh, like you wanted him pulling the sword out from behind his back?
Yep.
That should be interesting.
Oh yeah, I feel like the pose actually turned out quite well, but I do have to agree with you that the whole fucking Sub-Zero outfit that's going on right here is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I genuinely wanted to try out other torsos for this guy, but fucking all of them just didn't look unique enough. And in all things considered, when I actually have the physical model, I can just paint the fucking arms whatever color I want, and without looking without looking directly at it, it's gonna be near impossible to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you will have probably just witnessed the bane of my fucking 3D modeling existence, the limits that they have with the fucking arms.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the previous position you had, it almost looked like he was covering up a sneeze for a
Yeah,
moment.
I know. Like,
Or it's the fancy.
like,
Right.
boom.
Really?
Oh, don't you
Right.
say it.
Oh my!
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Kiss
he
my
really,
ring, peasant.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, but he really of all the characters, I honestly think that the player got the most into this one.
Oh yeah.
Far more than his previous
one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he really started to yeah, come here. He really started to enjoy this particular one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I he also has some of the funniest.
They really need for that pose that you have him there. They really need the middle finger.
They do. They really do. But I can understand why they don't.
Because well, first off, structural integrity, right?
Structural integrity and the fact that fucking everyone would be fucking choosing it.
Oh yeah, everyone would have that.
And then everyone would have a model with a missing digit after about 2 days.
2 weeks.
About 4 hours, everybody would be missing something.
Yeah, but this character, this Faceless had one of my absolute all-time favorite moments in D&D, at least in the sessions that we have had, and that is, of course, I think I'm trying to remember. I think you were here for this. It was the session that you were introducing the character, which made it even more delicious, right? And
no, it wasn't introducing the character. This was when you guys got back from the mission.
Well, Wraith and Smoke had just finished up with the mission, and we weren't even here. So, and you were introducing.
You guys had fought against the gargoyles.
Yes.
And then we cut off at that point because we had enough of the, it was just time to go.
Oh.
The next session included Faceless and Breach, and they had gone into the caverns to find you, and then the four of you together fought the Gorgon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then you guys had come back.
Yes, and then
hilarity ensued.
Wraith and Smoke had gone to basically collect the reward for taking her out and bringing the other unfortunate stoned souls back.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and
I got
the two of them went,
and then hilarity ensued with that whole fun situation.
Yeah, and then Faceless and
Breach, I think it was.
Yeah, they decided we're gonna go to a bar, which okay,
Mm-hmm.
And
nothing bad ever happens there.
This was beforehand, right? Because he's going up to the bar, and that one tiefling rogue goes, "Oh, so how are those numbers?" Basically, poking fun of the fact that we do have a certain attrition rate in our group. Going to collect these.
Everybody who joins dies eventually.
Well, except for the four of us so far.
To the bar, and they got sidetracked by this tiefling rogue outside. Just
and she's of course she goes up to pick Faceless's pocket, while he's being distracted, and he catches her and slaps her hand away, right? And while he's doing that, he decides to reach over and take her pocket, right? And then you have him roll for it, and he rolls a nat 1. Mm-hmm. And so okay, well, instead of picking her pocket, you miss the pocket entirely, and you put it down her pants and grab her tail. and then he does.
I leave my head there.
Yeah, he does the manliest move ever. And just leaves his hand there, and she just oh, senpai noticed me. And suddenly he has a girlfriend. Oh man! And then of course it turns out she
Then we
she
tried
had.
to send him the Minotaur dong.
Oh, that came later. That came later. We should probably avoid.
It came
that.
a lot later, but that's what started that.
Oh yeah. No, that was hilarious. Yeah,
Which we never actually got to finish that because he left like the session after that.
No, we did. Yeah, well, yeah. So we. Oh man, and then yeah, that was great. And then of course she's a tiefling, but one of her horns have been cut off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just start referring to her as the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
And she was there from there was one more session because remember after the there was a couple more sessions because after the infamous bar fight, right? Then Faceless spends the night in the slammer
for impersonating a superior officer.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it wasn't justified. I'm just saying that he spent the night, and apparently she decided to accompany him, and took advantage of, and I guess took advantage of the advantage of their solitude, I suppose. And then we got out, and then never saw her again.
Yep.
But he was there. Faceless was there for the. He was there for Draith's attack.
Yep. He was, yes.
Yeah. So.
And watching you try to bluff a fucking phoenix.
Yeah, but you have to admit though, that would have been freaking epic if you'd managed to pull it off.
I was hoping you got a
building dropped on me.
I was hoping you would have convinced him.
When you actually succeeded, I was kind of hoping that as well. And then
but
you had to remember that you had made it canon that he hated us.
Well, we kind of killed his girlfriend, so he wasn't too happy about us anyway.
True, we kind of did, but
yeah. So I tried to convince him. Yeah, no, we have a way that you can resurrect her. And then unfortunately, he rolled a freaking 4 on it.
Then it's like, wait a second.
Having a +4 to charisma doesn't do much good when you roll like crap.
Yep.
Now, specifically speaking, you were referring to the corpse you found in the pyramid.
Yeah.
Which was nowhere near the Gorgon's lair.
Yeah. So he would have wanted to have it stashed away somewhere obscure anyway. It's what the character.
I was legitimately hoping.
It's what the character thought at the time, you know. So
I was legitimately hoping that you would be able to convince the Phoenix not to burn you all alive, because I was thinking to myself, well, the boss fight was supposed to be a bit more tense than that, because there's a 5% chance that they're just gonna die, but no, the guy decides to animate 10 different teeth.
Never underestimate the power of that. And you know that I had the spell because I used it like 3 sessions earlier to bring the people turned to statues back to town.
And of course you have your tank who loses his Constitution save and runs the fuck away.
Or wisdom save, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was wisdom, just like,
yeah.
Yep, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Yeah, no kidding.
So reining this in here to a bit more of a, I don't know, clear story.
Okay, that one right there. Oh, okay. The previous shirt, I think. Well, yeah, because with that particular shirt, you really did make him look like Sub-Zero.
Okay, let's see. Let's speed things up a bit. We talking like this one?
Nope, not that one.
Bit later then. Keep on going.
Because that looks
I think it was like the
shirt.
Yeah, when both of you talk at the same time, you go full robot.
That one right there. That one right there. That to me is kind of what I imagine him wearing, personally.
Okay.
But that's just, I'm not bitching about the one that the design that you decided to go for. It's just like when I pictured him, it was in more of pirate-esque getup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reason
Personally,
why
I
I
think you should have
ultimately
gone with the hoodie.
the hoodie.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Just
hoodie
completely
was a
forget
contender.
canon and just go with the hoodie.
It was
That's
a
the
top
one I would have
contender.
liked. That one that you just had, the trench coat, is the one I would have liked, but there's no shirt underneath.
There is one, but it's
But
just
it's
a fucking t-shirt or something.
yeah, it's there. But that was the one that I think would have worked the best.
So I'll tell you why. The main reason why I didn't go with the peasant shirt, which is what you said you
That
really
one
like
could
about
work.
it, was because I wanted to pick an outfit that, or the very least, a shirt that hasn't been used before, and more specifically, a shirt
Mm-hmm.
that isn't like the exact same as another of the lost players.
Mm-hmm.
Osiris is wearing
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wearing that shirt, so
yeah.
and because I was thinking, you know what, fuck it, let's try something new and unique. I decided to finally go with the Mortal Kombat shirt.
Yeah, it did somewhat work.
Hmm.
I mean, more than a lot of the other chest armor that you had scrolled through.
Yeah. And it's not
So
like I don't have enough time to real quick swap over the shirt if you really think that the other one would look a bit better. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just letting you know as to why I selected the one I did. But going back to a bit more of a point A to B storyline here, Faceless is another member of the Ghost Rangers, an elite squadron of individuals from the Leviathan Legion who are tasked with retrieving turncoats and bringing them back to High Command,
to
dead or
fake
alive.
justice.
Dead or alive. Preferably
Yep,
alive.
Mainly dead.
mainly dead, preferably
Mainly dead,
alive.
preferably alive. And
Well, when someone
yeah.
starts slinging fireballs around you, you really kind of have to. We're just gonna, we're just gonna take this guy out and deal with
Or you're the big tank and you're swinging a massive sword and you're just oops.
it. Yeah, minor details. Right? Minor details. Yeah.
I think I meant to disarm him. I did not mean to cut him in half. Oops.
Well,
Sorry.
I meant to say non-lethal damage.
That was supposed to be with the flat of the blade. Oops. So,
Now,
I
Faceless is
I do
the
like the fact that you
rogue of the
could.
group.
Yes.
Faceless was the rogue
Mhm.
of the group. Smoke, the gnome, was the sorcerer.
No, no.
Wraith
Halfling.
was
Halfling.
the halfling. I'm calling him a gnome because it's insulting.
You just pissed off at that animate the basilisk teeth trick I pulled.
It may or may not have put a giant handful of wrenches in the mechanism.
Well, this coming from the same guy that killed off the guy that was supposed to give us a hand in this fight. Come on. All
It
right.
was. He rolled a natural 20
I
against him.
know. I know. I know.
It was your
Um,
own damn fault for taking as long as you did to get there.
well, we didn't know there was something so critical going on there.
Oh, it's
Anyway,
almost like the fucking place was at siege. Who would have thought?
well, yeah. So everything. Anyway, I need to go switch off
Shit
some laundry.
pint.
Give me about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right?
uh, thank you,
Oh,
Beers. I'll
God.
pass that along. So, if we really want to insult him, we can call him Shit Pint.
Yes, yes. I think when we get back, that's my new nickname for him.
New nicknames. We got it. We got this, boys.
Come on, Matt. With all the characters that you roll up that are over 7 feet tall, I could swear you're compensated for something.
Ooh. Now, the elite group of essentially fucking SWAT team, we'd established that they started with around 20, maybe 25 members. And over the course of the 5-year war, at the point in time that we are in the villain campaign, it's about 3.5 years in. They are down to officially 3. But originally, from the start of the villain campaign, it was going to be 7. And the 7 members were going to be represented by the 7 players. and it was going to be, depending on who is available at the time, the reason for the other members being absent would be they're just on a different mission. Because even from the beginning, the villain campaign was going to be a mission-centered campaign, with very little room for, say, world building, as opposed to these are the NPCs you're interacting with, and you can choose to accept or decline their missions for you. So, now, being the rogue, it was new for the player, I can say that. He hadn't played a rogue yet, but he was very much intrigued by the anime protagonist levels of ridiculousness.
Yes.
So, so that's one of the reasons why he did that. Now, when the character was first introduced officially in the campaign, he and another character named Breach, who was a fighter, were rudely teleported to the mission locale of Smoke and Wraith, who had already taken the initiative in locating a turncoat Gorgon. And together with the rogue, the fighter, the sorcerer, and the barbarian, the four of them managed to take down and bring in alive but stoned Gorgon and return to base with her and potential information. They also found an alchemist table, basically, with the ability to turn most objects into gold, which was it was touched on later on in the campaign, in the story, but ultimately, because of how the campaign went, wasn't all that much need to go back for it in terms of narrative-wise. Faceless also then, on his way back to the pub after that mission, basically got insulted from afar by a recruit and, well, came away with a girlfriend, so to speak. More of a groupie than a girlfriend, let's be real here. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
And, an entire backstory was made for that character, to which he didn't really care to hear, which was fair. He was a villain. Don't need to care about the woman who's sucking my dick.
Yeah. True.
Mm-hmm.
But, yes. The very last time we saw Faceless was after the fight with Draith, after being hired by Lady Elodie, and being offered, I think it was was it 5 or 15,000 gold a head? I forget exactly which one.
I can't remember.
I think it was 5.
I think it was, though. That sounds more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Than 15.
Yeah, the 5,000.
5.
Okay. Yeah, it was basically 5,000 gold a head to accompany her to a friend of hers in the desert. And, yeah. So that's the...
Well, I know he was on the ship. He was on the ship with us.
That's what I was getting to. The last time we saw him, he was below deck drinking with a Yarti bartender.
Yonti? Yeah.
Yep. He was a Yanti bartender. And unfortunately, that was the last we ever saw of Faceless in the villain campaign. But, all things considered, the villain campaign itself isn't really all that deep in terms of character development. But that was never the point.
Yeah, we're just there to well, kick ass and take names.
And to answer your question, Beers, the coloring in Hero Forge, it doesn't actually get affected by the material that the figure is in the site. You can edit how the paint looks in the mix tab, And depending on which one you select, you've got a number of different options to control the shading, or more accurately, the 3 variations of color that are hidden inside the paints you've selected, which is what you see later on earlier on / later on, while I'm editing the hood's black and blue attire. If you're asking me what's better to paint in terms of like the actual model, basic. Get the basic plastic, because the premium plastic, no. Every single dark color you want to put on the premium plastic does not show up. You cannot see it. You literally have to cover it with a different paint first, let that dry, and then go at it again. But the problem there is that the paint that you use, essentially as a primer, drastically affects the darker color that you're putting on top of it. So you legitimately have to use a different color than the one you want to achieve the color that you're ultimately aiming for. So skip the hardship, just use the premium plastic one if you want to paint it yourself. I have not bought the figures pre-painted.
Wait, hold on. Are you recommending him to order the premium plastic or the basic plastic?
Oh, sorry. Order the basic plastic if you want to paint it yourself. If you want to paint it yourself, get the basic plastic. I have not purchased any of these models like that came pre-painted because I enjoy the process.
Are they pre-painted, or is it the colored plastic?
But you can get them in both, the pre-painted or color printed.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And also, Carl, I was wrong. They do still have the cowardly stance. It's just in the swords, not the polearms.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Oh, well. But, yeah. Faceless was, well, the entire party are played by, the entire party is played by fucking pranksters. But in
not
the villain
the entire
campaign,
party.
But Faceless was the most prankster of them.
It turns out to be our entire party is.
He was.
Stuff we do ends up being a prank.
Yeah, he was quite a bit of a prankster, and Breach didn't help matters as much.
No.
Mm-hmm. So, after acquiring a girlfriend, basically just a love squeeze, or a lust squeeze. I don't think he had any genuine affection for her at all.
No.
He and the rest of the party go to a tavern. Now, Smoke basically went straight to bed because knowledge waits for no gnome. Knowledge waits for no gnome.
Right.
But Wraith, Breach, and Faceless remained in the bar and were basically getting their drink, getting their meal. And they decided, subconsciously, to start a bar fight.
I don't know if it was subconsciously on... I'm pretty sure it was subconsciously on Ray's part, but I don't think it was the other two. I think just decided to...
Ray just said the back, if I recall correctly.
It did, and then I decided ooh, there's free money. Steal.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, the bar fight was essentially used as a distraction. The bar fight was going to begin, and Faceless was going to go over to a table and steal gold from a couple of gamblers.
I think it was
the way he decided to do this.
Party time, if I recall correctly.
The way he decided to do this was take his hat of disguise and use it to disguise himself as the commander of the invading force in that area, Vanguard Vale.
Whom we work for.
Yes, whom you work directly under.
Yep. And I think at this point in time, I think Wraith didn't Wraith have a sore eye because he had a watermelon speed spat in it by Vanguard Vale.
Yep, I was still kind of pissed at that.
Yep.
He was smarting a little bit.
A little irked.
Yeah,
I might say.
So, I don't remember exactly how low of a roll he made, but deception, deceiving the gamblers who had the gold on the table, he failed, and they instantly realized,
basically,
oh shit.
He basically walks up to him and says, "Yeah, you need to give me some of that pot," which is a real great way to win the good graces and actually get some money from some gamblers.
Mm-hmm. But because of some of the things he said and the role he made, they instantly found out you're not the real Vanguard.
Uh-huh.
And then he decided to turn tail and run.
Right.
Which ironically enough, opened the table up for Wraith to steal the gold.
Well,
Wraith walked up and
that wasn't
mine.
Hold on, that was you're missing a few steps here, right? After he fails that roll, he was it after? Well, because I know that in that same bar fight, in the attempt to instigate an entire bar fight, he manages to turn the entire bar against his friend Breach.
Right, he did, yeah.
So the entire bar decides to, well, at least one of the tables, and I think a couple of people were cheering them on, but one of the tables decides to go and just mob attack frickin' Breach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while all this is going on, that's when he went back to that's when he went back to try and convince them to give him some of the money. Did a bad roll on his intimidation, and then booked it out and then they because they left their table and then came after him. So now there's like 200 gold sitting on this table or something like that, and Ray.
It was a lot.
Yeah, and as they're getting up, if I recall, as they were getting up, the table tips over and spills the gold on the floor, and Wraith just takes a sip of his beer, puts a beer down, gets up and walks over and just sweeps all this gold into his gold pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And so the two people and then of course I think it was immediately after that the bar owner kind of
the bartender who is a Goliath, basically. I remember him being a Goliath.
You have a thing for Goliath barkeeps, I gotta say.
He comes out from the bar and picks up a crossbow that's basically a scorpion.
And if I remember correctly, Wraith was the only one that was not intimidated, which of course is normal. Fucking 7.5 foot tall dragonborn just that could cut me in half. I don't care.
But so he basically just said, "All right, next broken glass is gonna be inside your rectum, and if you don't stop fucking around."
Yeah, basically. And then, of course, I think the
Wraith just, I don't care, toss.
Well, I think eventually, but I think eventually you did decide that that Faceless might need a hand, and
it was kind of after that also, that I decided he needs help.
Yeah. Plus, I bet what probably helped this whole your whole decision that was the minor fact that the people that had been gambling would probably at that point have gotten back to their table and realized that, oh yes, all of our money's gone. You took it. Yeah. So you're probably like, I'm going to take this moment to leave. Yep.
And so the following morning, you guys understand that Faceless was found and arrested by Vanguard Vale because you impersonated me and used it as an attempt to steal money.
Yep.
You're going to get locked up for this. Now, ultimately, he is a member of his more elite task force, so it's pretty much just a fucking stay in this dirty-ass cell for a night, and you have to go back to work the next day. But he had another opportunity to learn the backstory of the unicorn, and he basically said, "No, I don't care."
You know what? If I may, I think you should actually think about doing, not necessarily printing the model, but at least creating a model for the unicorn. I mean, if they let you do that.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I mean, like with the one horn gone.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that just would have been hilarious. You know, that'd be great to actually like have a representation because I'm pretty sure that she. Wow, good God! I just saw what you did to his chest. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And, but
yeah.
Well, let's see what the Max does on this, right?
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And no, like I genuinely thought about doing that at some point in time, like a live version of that. Just walk through it at some point. But
NPC that we met.
What?
Doing some of the more important NPCs that we've met.
I mean, most of the important NPCs that you've met have already been made to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones that
I have to
are
admit
the ones that don't really have any reason to be used in any form of combat.
Yeah, those hobgoblin shopkeepers would have been amusing.
Oh yes, they would have.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Now, for reference,
especially giving one of them the item that we purchased.
Just have them sitting there holding it because they did kind of give it to us. Here, if you can guess what this is, you can have it. Oh my gosh, is that a? How do you know that? Don't ask.
You don't want to know. I hate him now. I scarred for life. That sucked. That mission sucked.
So, getting back on topic, the important plot hook that I left for the players after the bar was a soldier that had come in from the mountains who had been burnt to the point where you could see the tendons and the bone, and he was still alive.
What is that, like 5th or 6th degree?
I do not remember, but the point that was going to be very strange, or at the very least alarming, was the fact that he would have been a red dragonborn. A red dragonborn who has resistance to heat.
Fire, yeah.
Yep. So it would have been quite the tell as to exactly how hot this source of flame was.
Well, they have resistance, right? They don't have...
yeah.
They don't have immunity, so, I mean, yeah, it would have to be twice as hot. Which is probably the fact that he was a red dragonborn was the only reason that he survived.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Breach did manage to piss off his 2 compatriots.
Yep. And we'll get to him. We'll get to him. And after Faceless had been relieved of his prison cell, the members went and were basically hired by Lady Elodie, who could see their true names. And that was basically it. The only other option... not options, missions.
She manages to piss off every single one of my characters.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's what she is.
I know.
So, there aren't a whole lot of missions in the villain campaign to speculate how they would have been different had, Faceless or Breach been a part of them. But...
well,
I guess we could.
There are some that we did where he wasn't there, which I suppose we could. Like I know when we went to hunt down.
When you went to hunt down the gargoyle, the Gorgon, you fought the 2 gargoyles, and I don't think it would have been all that interesting per se, because the gargoyles themselves were mainly as a comparison to show you guys exactly how much stronger you are as in the villain campaign than you were in the hero campaign.
But I was thinking of when we took on the mission to go into the desert to track down the contact.
Yeah, that was after he left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after he left. Because if you remember, that was when the new villain, the Tabaxi, came into the party.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, not
so yeah.
not the first time we went into the desert. The second time, yeah.
Ah, that is correct. That is correct. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. The second mission uh was going into the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's correct. Going
We
into
were,
the desert and
we were,
solving a
we were,
puzzle inside one of the Jirahai tombs.
well, we did have
Fought a bunch
it
of
was
giant spiders and a bunch of mummies.
some nasty mummies, if I recall correctly.
Now, here's the thing. I don't believe I had this planned at the time, but with the knowledge that I do now and the experience I do now, I would have thrown a mummy lord in there had all 4 or 5 of you been present at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, had the Almighty, Breach, Faceless, Smoke,
Oh,
and Wraith been in there at once,
unfortunately,
a
I
mummy
don't.
lord would have been down in those pits.
I don't think that we ever actually had a session with all 5 of us,
I
That
don't
is
think
true.
we did.
That is true.
which is unfortunate because that would have been a lot of fun. We could have kicked some serious keister.
Oh, you would have, and it would have been quite entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the mission for finding this contact in the middle of the desert led you to find a Kenku draped in cloak called Nilrim, whom for some reason is able to speak without copying anyone.
Well, they can copy things that they have heard before, which is why they
Yeah.
make decent spellcasters. But yeah,
Gifting Smoke a book that allows him to contact Nilrim at any time just by writing in questions or writing in a sentence. It's like texting, except you can't read what you wrote. So it's basically like Snapchat.
The first text message.
The first text message.
actually, I had some friends that I did texting with back in high school, and this was accomplished by passing a notebook back and forth in which one person would write something and then they would pass it to the next and then they would write a reply, and you'd pass it back and forth like that, which is rather similar to what texting is now. But this happened, a good 3 or 4 years before before most of those text platforms like AIM or ICQ. Well, no, I take that back. ICQ was around, but that was I think that was about it at the time. And of course, we didn't have laptops in class.
Oh no, of course not. So I think that Faceless would have been ecstatic to fight against mummies. I think he would have been fucking.
Well, especially because he has such mobility.
Mhm.
I know that he had high mobility compared to everyone else, and so he would have just like surprise attack, surprise attack, surprise attack. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, as soon as Smoke had come in and nuked them all, then he probably would have come in and finished the job.
Probably, but
Yep. Yee-hoo! We're gonna light some undead on fire. Yay! So,
Indeed.
yes.
But so, other than that, I guess we can ask the burning question in regards to later on. How do you think Faceless would have responded to Elodie's seeming fucking diplomatic immunity as the Yuan-Ti were ripping you guys apart?
I'm fairly certain that certain choice words would have been uttered.
oh, a few choice words would have been uttered.
Yeah, he definitely would have. Been like, "What the fuck?"
So for context, in case anyone new is listening in and hasn't seen the last episode, the group of villains went into the desert on this flying ship, and they exited at a certain area because any further than that and they might get shot down. So they drop them off in the desert, and they have to make a nice trek from one point to the other. And after a while, giant snakes appear to be following them, eventually revealing themselves to be Yuan-Ti and
Well,
attack.
not all of them were. There were a number of normal sized snakes as well, but they did manage to like shapeshift into Yuan-Ti.
Yes. And they seemingly did not notice the Lady Elodie, this elven woman.
She was leading the group.
Who was leading them, yes. And the Yuan-Ti attacked the party.
And she didn't do a damn thing.
She did not do a damn thing, and in fact, after a certain distance, she stopped walking, turned around, and just looked. Just watched. If there were a lawn chair, she would have sat in it.
Uh-huh.
Now, of course, our noble villains eventually defeated the Yuan-Ti, but they were all pretty much close to being wiped out. One of them having gone down by a Yuan-Ti blade because he had teleported over there, out of sight, and then shrieked at the top of his lungs, "Hey, get ready for a fireball!"
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
which alerted the Yuan-Ti to where he teleported to.
And then, of course, you have my big dumbass that goes into negative like 3 times and is only saved because of my sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you ever actually went down, but I know
did.
that you did. Okay.
Well, I would have gone negative.
Yeah, you would have gone down had you not.
I would have gone down at least twice.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know that you did. You had crit twice. I know that.
Robots.
Yeah.
Without the sword, I would have crit twice, or I would have gone down twice.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah. Of course. I mean, it was the first combat session with that with our
current
backseat
setup
warlock. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's understandable that, I mean, in all honesty, the warlock really is the type of character where you launch off a couple of big spells, and then you basically spend the rest of your time Eldritch blasting. And because he decided to go Fey, they really rely on trickery rather than brute strength.
Hence why the teleportation was a good idea until he announced.
Yep. Until he said, "Hey." Yeah.
Until he announced his intentions.
Yep.
Yes.
So, do you think that Faceless would have been genuinely effective in that particular fight, or do you think it would have been a bit harder for him to work on, considering that you guys were basically surrounded in broad daylight?
I think, like, if it had been a different, like, if we'd been in where we ended up afterwards, he would have been very effective because that's more of a dark environment. But in the middle of the desert, no, he wouldn't have been really effective unless he rolled really, really high on a lot of his stuff.
Now, I do believe that if at any point in time he had been able to flank them alongside Wraith or even Breach, that would have done some useful stuff. But I'd have to agree with you on that one. The situation was very much stacked against you guys.
And he was. I can see him like fighting someone else until Wraith started getting mobbed, and then just like sneaking in and like taking a couple people out with a surprise attack, with a sneak attack.
Sneaking in and then just stab.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, he didn't have. I mean, he had just like a normal saber, right? There wasn't anything,
I think
it wasn't magic or anything.
Yeah,
I think he was one of the few party members that didn't. Well, no, he had the hat or the mask of many disguises or whatever it is.
Yeah, he had the hat of disguise, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think he had anything that actually gave him.
I don't remember any
combat power.
I do know that he had the hat of disguises, and I know that he would start off with a second magic item too, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember.
I can't remember what it was.
I know that
because I know that he didn't actually use it.
Hold on. At that point, hold on. back when we were in Captain's Port, which is the city that we were defending when Draith attacked, that Draith attacked. When we were in Captain's Port, he did manage to get himself a ring of invisibility.
Ah, yes, he did.
So
That was yes.
he probably would have done a couple sneak attacks at that point, and then just like cut apart, a couple of the Yuan-Ti and maybe taken some of the heat off of Wraith at that point. In that particular combat.
Yeah.
So.
And what do you think his response would have been to the Lady Tiamat?
He probably would have looked upon her stash of her hoard with, shall we say, avarice.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have started thinking at some point in time, how can I bring some of that home? And I'm fairly certain that he would have snuck around her laboratory, and tried to, basically take whatever he thought might at some point in time become useful, even if useful is 10 years down the line. So I think he probably would have been creeped out a little bit by Tiamat, but he probably would have tried to rub her blind.
And again, for those of you who didn't see the previous villain episode, the Lady Tiamat is not actually the god Tiamat with the 5 dragon heads. It is supposedly an elven woman who, is just going by that name in order to garner fear and respect from the Yuan-Ti in the area.
Whom she's kind of using as surrogate guards for her laboratory.
Mm-hmm. And of course, as the Lady Tiamat, she has a hoard of gold that would make Smaug drool. But yes, that's basically the only genuine parts of the mission that we could necessarily talk about, other than the option of how do you think the two of you, how do you think Faceless would have responded to Nilrim?
He probably would have been like, this guy's suspicious as hell. I don't think he would have trusted him in any form or fashion.
I don't think he would have.
I mean,
I think it would have been
more than I do Elodie.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
I hate her. And not just because she pissed off, Smoke, who's irritated enough because he's one of the reasons that he decided to take on a pseudonym is because he's not exactly proud of some of the things that he's done, and he hopes at some point to drop the facade of being Smoke and maybe lead a somewhat normal life at some point in time. But
normal.
Well, yeah. But with with someone like Elodie out there who knows his true identity, he's going to be a little bit that's going to put that in peril. So that's Smoke. That's not Faceless. So I still think Faceless. Yeah, Faceless definitely would not have trusted Nilrim at all. But
no, I don't think he might have tried to kill him.
Possibly. I think more that I don't think he would have tried to kill him, but he's just like, he's not a direct threat right now. He could be one in the future, but for now, we're just, he probably would have tried to gather a little more information on him, if you will. Use the time that they had to chat with him as a time to sit there and ask him questions about himself and his history to see if he could find maybe a weakness. Planning ahead.
Something I can exploit later.
Exactly.
That's fair. Yeah. So, all in all, considering that we've gone through the process of the actual character's design, what do you ultimately think of the design and the pose I went with here?
Honestly, he kind of looks. I mean, that's a good pose. Yeah, that definitely captures his attitude. There's no question about that. Honestly, he kind of looks like how I imagined Lark a little bit.
Ah. Okay.
With that particular costume, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because Hero Forge does have a couple of quote-unquote leather options here, but as Beers rightfully pointed out, even those options are kind of debatable as to like how much like a leather outfit that they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only so much I can really do about them. And
Right.
that's ultimately the reason why I went with this one, is because I wanted Faceless to look more or less different than the other costumes that I've had for different characters, and I've already used. I've used the leather armor one before. I've used the hide stuff before, but that's more or less what I wanted to try out here at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I will say this. I do regret that he no longer is in our campaigns, because he would have been incredibly useful in the missions that we are about to come up against.
you don't say.
Oh yeah, especially considering that he will be, that he's going to be getting. Well, he would be really useful in getting the core of that Iron Golem.
Yeah. The upcoming stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he will. The stuff that we have to get.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be very useful in getting.
Yep. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you made him. You didn't make him all that tall, like 5'10".
Yeah, I didn't want him to be a towering figure. I wanted this guy to genuinely look like, outside of the fact that he's this, hardcore rogue assassin murderer. I wanted him to honestly be able to pass off as this totally average guy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to look like he could be totally, completely average and all that.
Which is
Should have
a
just done
little
the
ironic.
yeah. I mean,
Say
Go
again?
ahead, Matt.
should have just made him either like 7 feet tall and really skinny, or just short as shit
And really fat. Just like, there you go. Your character is 1.5 feet tall and 700 pounds.
Yeah, we call him the cannonball.
Yeah, he gets around faster by rolling than he does with by walking.
Mhm.
Actually, that's what you should have done that with Smoke.
Ah.
Yeah. Since you tend to hide, you should have made your character 1.5 feet tall and 900 pounds, just because.
He's I think he's 3'6", which is on the taller side for halflings. But I mean, come on, when you're a squishy sorcerer, yeah, you definitely want to be, you can't see me, because you don't want them to see where the frickin' fireballs are coming from. Well, now the irony, of course, in making him like strictly average. Not that I have any objections, but the irony of making him strictly average height is the fact that his player is, I kid you not, 6'7" and like maybe 230 pounds, right? I mean, not quite a beanpole, but he's kind of creeping up on it.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the facial structure is actually rather similar to Adam's. Interestingly enough. So.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt. But
yeah, he would have been. Yeah, no, he was. I know he was a fun character, and I know for a fact that his player enjoyed playing him.
Had a lot of fun playing him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really did, and I am hoping that he enjoys the overall design. And like I said earlier, if you genuinely think it should be retouched on to be a bit more like you said, if there's going to be a hat of disguise and you think that he should benefit for having the hat of disguise, I can go back in there and change it. Literally just put the hat of disguise on there, and may or may not be able to change up the torso. Because from the sounds of it sounds like you guys like it for the most part.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm honestly on the fence about saying that. Yeah, you probably should find
I
something a little
hear
bit more
that a robot
swashbuckling.
is on the fence.
Ha ha ha. I am a little bit on the fence on if I should say that. Yeah, you should give him something a little more nautical as far as
Nautical.
his. Yeah,
Alright.
as
Nautical, eh?
far yes, that having to deal with the sea since he is a he did pick the swashbuckler archetype for this particular character.
Alright.
So, but no, that would have been yeah. Other than that, and maybe the hat of disguise.
Maybe the hat?
Yeah, because that was that like like we said that was his item pick was the hat of disguise.
That's fair. Alright. What do you think about that, Matt? You think I should go back in there?
I mean, I like the original one, but I mean, you may want to. I think if you weren't the one purchasing it, I would say go back in and make a second one. And
Now he's a centurion.
Oh, is he? Is he now, huh?
but I mean, yeah, I think possibly even going like if you weren't the one actually buying all of them, I'd say go back in, make a second one, and
Wait,
have
this isn't
that
Breach, is it?
of.
I was waiting for
I
when one
was
of you would fucking notice that.
yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is currently Breach. And I just decided at one point, you know what? I'm gonna make him just an evil knight.
Oh yeah.
Just the most stereotypical
Oh yeah.
black knight as you can get.
Straight up, man. Yeah, absolutely. No,
But no,
that was
I've got no problem at all with like re-editing the design of the character and just using that one instead. You know, because of the Epic Loot promo code, I'm basically getting $30 off
nice.
because it's $5 per miniature that you
Mhm.
purchase.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had to. Well, what do you think, Matt? Going to change it?
Yeah, maybe, or even adding the hat is just something that's on the base.
Unfortunately, there is no
You
option to
know, I
put the
just
hat
I
on the
was I
base.
was trying to remember if there was or not.
There are a couple of helmets, but that's about it. So just the hat, not changing the costume or anything like that.
I think just the hat, or I mean, well,
Because keep in mind, if I choose the hat, the hood goes down.
true.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of other shirt options that I might be able to work with. I also think that you guys will really like the weapons I gave for Breach. I don't even remember if Breach used a sword or a hammer or something like that, but
He used
yeah.
this. It was a sword. It was
Okay.
a one-handed sword
Okay.
because he had a shield as well.
Mm-hmm. And in that case, I think you're really gonna like how the sword turned out. I found a lesser used one that, yeah, I think it fits him quite well. So, all right. Well, I'll go back into it, and because I want to order them by tomorrow, because I'm fairly certain that the promo code ends
Pretty
beginning
soon,
of
I
next.
think.
Yeah, it ends beginning of next month.
Hmm.
So,
You
I
gave
have
him the
to.
stone shield.
Yep, going with that
You gave
stone
him
shield.
the stone shield. Okay.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
I
That.
had an idea. I had an idea with it. Because if I can get the paint to look a specific way, it'll turn out badass. So
Mhm.
that's ultimately what I was banking on.
Mm-hmm.
Should just have him doing the
questioned.
kick.
I even went with the idea of, you know how I do the pose is very static and very realistic. Like this is what the character, like, idle poses as mostly,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
An original idea I had for the character was to put the shield on his back and to have him posing with the sword, sword on the ground, and his other hand resting on top of the pommel.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually have a pose where both hands are on top of the pommel, right? So I was gonna pull some shenanigans on there and make it look as close to that as I could. But the shield on the back, especially with a cape, does not look good.
Mm-hmm.
So I ultimately, skipped that and went with something else for the pose. And I think you'll notice that there's something wrong with the helmet and the mask.
Yeah,
The
apparently his flesh is showing through.
Yeah, the nose and the eyebrows are sticking out of the mask. And as soon as I realized that, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, really?
Yeah, I know, right?
So it doesn't actually matter all that much because, the face is covered by the helmet anyway.
Did you notice that
But
the
I
fin
shouldn't
is
have
also
to do that.
flesh-colored?
Huh?
Yeah. Did you, yeah, I was gonna say you notice that the fin that you put on the back of his helmet is also flesh-colored.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I was aware of that. Like, the horns and the fins are always going to be flesh colored, but peeking out through the helmet, you can still make him look like it's, actually part of the armor instead,
Mm-hmm.
which is ultimately what I went with. If you couldn't tell already. And
That
for
is
the
some
most
decent.
part,
That is some decent-looking armor.
right? Thank you. And I spent more time on this armor's color than I did the actual modeling.
I believe it.
Because as soon as I found out how to edit the colors to the way I just wanted them, oh man, I went crazy. I went crazy with it because I knew I could make it look perfect because it's as close to what I want it to look like, manually painted. That's what I want this to look like in terms of overall reference.
Yeah.
And the overall design I had for this guy was his armor and weaponry are rusty, not because he doesn't put maintenance on it, but because they're used and covered in blood that frequently.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So his armor is of course like this. It started out as this nice and sleek black metal, and over time it just got drenched in blood. It got hammered. It got cut, and it's just like the rust is showing. And no matter how much he actually maintains the armor, like it could be blessed for all we know, so that it doesn't actually fall apart. But it just shows you how much blood is on this man's hands, and he wears that with pride.
Those are some interesting color combinations that you have on the boots there.
Yep, I went with the. I took advantage of the fact that there is a rust color, and I made sure that it wasn't completely symmetrical. Because if it was symmetrical, it would look like it was made that way.
Mm-hmm.
But if I made it asymmetrical in some areas, it would be very much apparent that it's just rusting in certain places. Mm-hmm. The actual model itself won't have rusting in like the plates itself as a whole. Rather, they will have like rust marks in here or there.
Mm-hmm.
In a very similar way to how you would paint scratch marks.
Rust.
Yeah.
This isn't rust. This is the blood of my enemies.
Would you like to help me paint the rest of my armor? I've been in need of new supplies.
Ooh, that's an interesting color pattern on the shield.
Nice.
Oh, we got to that part? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, as soon as I found out that, like, the way that looked, I was like, oh, yes, I'm going with that. And I eventually was able to find a different color palette for the fabric on this thing. And I don't know exactly how long it took me to do that, but I really liked how the color turned out on the shield and the end result, I really love how it turned out for the fabric part of this and the sword. Because I went with a very similar route on the sword than I did with the shield, where the actual metal of the
It
blade
almost
is
looks
very
bronze.
yeah. And like I said, more and more of it will be unveiled over time. But like I said, this whole painting process took more than the actual. Okay, we're gonna go with this armor, those pants, these boots. You know, like I if ever you wanted a good example of how like where Hero Forge excels, it's here. It's here. Adding paint and adding the various paints and the types of stuff that you can edit is a perfect way of showcasing what you can do with this thing.
I like that red accented black.
I ultimately kind of went with this because, you know, black is one thing, but at the same time, I get the feeling that this guy would like the red on there
Yeah.
more so than the black. I feel like if I had more, not necessarily more time, but if I had more options per se with the actual colors themselves, and yeah, I gave him yellow eyes because evil.
Yeah.
If I had a bit more time to mess around and more options to like where I would put the black accents, sorry, the red accents, I might have gone with the whole black shirt, but I think I was a bit concerned with the black blending into the armor. I think that's what I was concerned with at the time.
My only complaint on this is a issue of feasibility, and having a horned helmet and shoulder pauldron like that. That's going to really restrict his actual movement.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like the pauldrons, I had some clipping issues with later, and again, I have yet to actually place the order. So again, if you think that these particular pauldrons should go, I won't lose any sleep over it. I just feel, I just wanted to go for that imposing silhouette. I wanted to go with that imposing silhouette.
I mean, if you could find something that was a little flatter, like that with the red accents on the sword.
Thank you. Like I said, I wanted to showcase that this man's weapons are so blood covered that it's just
he just can't get rid of it anymore.
It's just that he doesn't have the time to get that deep into the weapons and the shield to get all of it out. I also went with the a bit more of a bloodstained helmet to emphasize. Yeah, this guy's gonna fucking headbutt you, and he's gonna keep on banging his helmet into your face, until you're dead. Again, the facial features don't really matter all that much, but I do despise the fact. I do despise the fact that if you alter the face, you alter the horns as well. So basically, if you have any sort of helmet piece on there, you cannot touch the face. Otherwise, they become completely asymmetrical, and it's a bitch and a half. But, yeah. There are a couple of
I think they'll eventually fix that, but...
Or at the very least give you the option.
They should eventually fix that.
They should, or at the very least give you the option of, would you like the horns to be connected to the helmet or the face?
Yeah. Well, I think the two on the side going down are the ones that are connected to the helmet, and I think the ones that are coming up from the front are basically tiefling horns.
I know. That's more or less what I'm referring to. You can utilize the horns that are on the head to make the helmet look a lot more intimidating. But if you move the face around, it also moves the horns, as opposed to locking them in place on the helmet. But I'm still working with the colors at this point. Still trying to figure out how to make it all perfect, how to make it all blend in. And I just realized we haven't actually talked about the character of Breach yet. In all of this discussion about, oh, nice, oh, those colors look good.
Yeah. Well,
but I'll take that as a sign. I'll take that as a sign that y'all like Breach's outfit a bit more than Faceless. I'll take that as a sign.
They were two different characters, and they played two different ways, so...
Oh, yes.
Faceless was more the
Oh wow, that was really bad.
role playing character. Breach was more the I'm just gonna go hit shit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Breach, I think, was one of the first attempts that we had of making an actual tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the barbarians that Matt plays are extremely effective as tanks, but I mean,
They're more sponges than actual walking tanks.
yeah, they really are HP
Yeah.
more than anything else. I mean, they can be used to tank, if you will, but yeah, no,
But
Breach was
with the party makeups that we have, I end up being more of a tank than the
yeah.
character is actually designed and originally designed to be. Just with the way our party is made, usually ends up being made up.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And looking at the feedback here and kind of analyzing uh, how I got the pose ultimately, I might go back and change the pose as well, because the pose I ultimately end up with is completely feasible with other poses that are on the site. So you'll see
Well,
the end result pose.
if you
Yeah.
did use if I mean because you could get something approximating what you were talking about because if you did have it where he was okay, see that yeah, if you did have it where the one where he's holding the sword directly in front of him and then you simply inverted the sword and then like dropped his hand a little bit, you might be able to come to an approximation
Mm-hmm.
of what you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally have someone who's actually like holding the shield like they properly were, rather than holding it way off to the side and expecting that to do any good.
Yeah, like I said, I was designing Breach to be this intimidating force, and what's more intimidating than a man who knows how to use his tools?
Yeah, which is a little ironic because when we started, he didn't.
Well, yeah, but that's just, like, you can't exactly blame the player who's a complete
No.
noob. You can't blame the
Yes.
player for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember, and I had to be amused. But I remember when it was the assault on Captain's Port,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of picked up the player's handbook, and he's like, "Oh, I get 3 attacks."
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you think we've all been staring at you when you only attack once?
Right?
yeah. Once he found out
Wait,
exactly
what?
how many attacks he could make, he became so much more powerful.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was fucking unbelievable how strong this guy could be.
You should be out damaging my character, which is spec for damage at this point.
I mean, all
You
things,
should be doing
yeah.
more.
I mean, all things considered, the way that Breach was designed and the way that he could have been later on down the line, he could have been out damaging the spell slingers in terms of like what you could do.
Yeah. Well, did he ever take anything that well? What was his item? Because I don't think. Well, you gave us either like one or two, like high level items.
I believe he took adamantine armor.
Okay.
I think it was the adamantine armor because I'm pretty sure at least one of you took the armor or a shield as your magic weapon.
Well, he was the only one of us.
I took a sword and I took sword and armor for mine.
Well, because I know that
For
doesn't adamantine
adamantine negates natural 20s against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did take
adamantine armor.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was plate or if it was.
The thing is, with that, he could have.
Yeah.
He could have gone toe to toe with Drafe
He
in
could
his
have.
human form. Yeah, with that Vorpal sword.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it negates nat 20s, then he's never going to get decapitated.
Now, I don't know if that actually means negates a Vorpal sword, because it basically says that a nat 20 is considered as a normal hit. It's not a critical hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to.
Well, I think that it would, though, wouldn't it? I mean, because
I'm willing to make it lure. I'm willing to make it that because a Vorpal sword is so bloody powerful, and if there's nothing that can stop against it other than like the feasibility of a one-handed weapon cutting through a neck. Like a
Right.
dragon
Mm-hmm.
can't exactly do that to a dragon. Considering how
Yeah.
thick the actual neck is, a blade is not going to reach that if it's a single-handed blade.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah. Now, so one last thing before we go on to the actual character of Breach. What did you think of his overall design, of his overall armor, his pose?
That was I believe that you achieved what you were going for, because it did look, it very much looked like rusted armor, like a man who's been on a campaign for a long time without access to like oil or some of the stuff that would be necessary to maintain his armor, and who
Yeah.
he did look like he was covered in gore slaying a dragon. He did.
Or that, and that the
Oversized
veteran that knows
ball that you gave him.
Mm-hmm.
the veteran
Yes.
that knows what he's doing,
Yeah,
and not the like prissy or the stereotypical prissy noble that is only going to be there for one or two battles and then leaves and always has nice armor,
Mm-hmm.
or the peasant who just here's your standard armor, go fight. But the veteran
Right.
that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, because
this
he
guy
survived it.
Yeah. This guy's picked up armor from fallen enemies, fallen comrades, brought it to the blacksmith and goes, make me armor.
Fix!
My
Or just brought it to the blacksmith. Fix!
Right.
Like, gets his armor fixed, goes back out there, dings it all to high hell, brings it back to the blacksmith, and the blacksmith's going, what the fuck did you do? Fix.
Yes.
Just undent it, please. Just get rid of all the dents. Fucking weld it back together if you
This
can.
point, fix. Oh, okay.
I did.
With what?
I did
don't
like
know.
that. Yeah, right. I did like that glorified all that you gave him for a sword,
Yeah.
because that really did look like a freaking stone carver's tool that someone just decided to put an edge on.
Well, that's actually a German executioner blade.
Hence
Hence why I liked it so much. Like, oh, yes. We're not giving him some prissy-ass fancy blade. This thing is going to be a blade meant for decapitation, bitch.
Oh yes.
Like, I knew that I didn't want to give him the very big XL blades because, quite frankly...
Well, I did notice.
Yeah.
I did notice
weapons
that
like that are limited to very specific characters, like, say, the horseman that you guys came across in the dream sequence. That's such a character that could wield a blade that big with one hand. I knew that he was going to have a blade that was larger than the others.
Well, he was
just
a
on
freaking Goliath, wasn't he?
Who?
The horseman that we came across.
You don't know, actually. He very much looked human, but considering the world that we're in, that could have just been the dream that you were having.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, that's just an example that I would give you for the type of character that could wield a blade that large with one hand. But at the same time, a lot of the other earlier blades just aren't good. They don't look all that they don't look all that
Functional?
good in terms of like not necessarily functional, but I didn't want to give him just another long sword or the great sword, I was debating on giving him the Flamberg. I was debating giving him the Flamberg, but as soon as I saw the Executioner, I'm like, done.
Yeah.
Found it.
Yeah, I did notice that you did look at the Flamberge and even the Claymore for a little bit, and then you just sort of like, you know what, and then you just started paging through different swords. So yeah, he didn't have a magic sword. He had just a normal regular. I think it was like a long sword, but it was a one-hander. So
yep. Now I don't remember what his magical items were. I'm fairly certain I tried to give you guys overall. I tried to give you one utility item and one combat item. I do think I tried to do that, but obviously for some of you that just wasn't going to happen. hence Wraith's sentient blade. I always knew that I was going to give him that, regardless of what he took. And the fact that he just decided to take armor instead of a magic weapon, I basically went, oh shit, well, he's going to get combat weapons now. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as like Smoke is concerned, obviously you know what you had and how effective they've been for you.
Oh man, yes. Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
I picked a couple. I saw ability to walk on walls, and I'm just like, yes, yes, we are doing this.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the items I chose, it's developed that character more the way that I wanted to play him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
the fact that he's got a sentence sword that's completely opposite of what his alignment is.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, excuse me, but I do need to
laundry.
Laundry. Yes, I'll be back in 5.
All right, we'll be here. All right. So, moving on. Breach was a character, and Matt, feel free to remind me if I seem to be missing things out. Breach was a character that ultimately was similar to Tiberius in the sense that he's very direct and he is a very no-nonsense character. I do not believe he would go so far as to piss off everyone in the 10-mile vicinity, but he definitely would be the character that, I could beat around the bush, or I could tell you exactly what I want, and if you don't do exactly what I want, I'll kill you. Because I have the authority to do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this, and you're not going to stop me.
Not because you couldn't call my boss, but because you don't have the power to do it.
Yeah.
Now, Breach as a character came in after Smoke and Wraith had gone on their mission, and as a result, not as a result of that, but as a result of the very nature of the villain campaign back then, only happening when not enough players showed up for the hero campaign, Breach was one of the players where if he was there, so was everybody else. And there was only a handful of times when he was there and not enough people other than him were present. So that was just...
Yeah,
so
one
basically,
of those that if we decided to play here, or if we decided to play villain and he was there, it was a group decision. We're going to go with villain.
He was usually the player that was... He was the minimum that we could play as hero, or the maximum that we could play as villain. And depending on the feeling of the overall group, we would do one or the other. Strangely enough, it was usually villain in those instances. Usually. But there were plenty of instances.
I think it was just because we all got tired of his other character.
Yeah, his other character was...
We're going to do this, so we don't have to deal with that character.
For reference, his other character in the hero campaign at the time... was also a villain. He was a contract assassin who had legitimately had names tattooed on his arm that he had to kill. 4 names that he had to kill. And it was very much a... So, fun fact, he had been caught by Black Pete and was shoved onto the hero characters. Hence why we have this lawful evil character, palling it up with these other hero characters.
Well, I don't know if I'd say palling it up, but...
And at the end of leaving the village to go and be bodyguards for Degrizniak the Goblin, Nazardine fit him with a ring that basically had a magical enchantment that read, if you try to harm them, this ring is going to cause you immense pain. So...
Well, since Black Pete is an alleged presence, because he technically doesn't exist at all.
Yes, Black Pete doesn't exist. Yes, he...
Yep.
Nope, nope. Complete, total myth.
Yep, he's just not there at all. Yep.
But Yeah. But basically that's more or less what they're referencing when it came to the getting away from that character, because like obviously the players are all fairly good friends, depending on the day, but the characters themselves didn't always mesh because of what they wanted and what they were
And
how they were doing things.
I think the mistake that the player made was when he was rolling up the character. I think he decided to completely randomize everything because you know how the player's handbook has like different options on philosophy and things like that, and it has them all numbered, and you can either choose to pick the character's philosophy, which works with him best, or if you don't really care, you can just like roll something up to see what happens. And I think that's what he did. I think he just went up and rolled. And it just so happens that the character that he ended up rolling was lawful evil.
Mm-hmm. This lawful evil guy who may or may not be a hired killer.
Lawful evil ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Who, I mean, in all honesty, he probably should have taken he should have taken a rank or two in rogue. But of course,
he definitely would have had the opportunity to do that with later on down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, but we were still like total noobs at this point. I mean, we'd only been playing for like 4 months or something like that when he started coming. I know that
it was about 3 actually. It was like 2 or 3 months that he.
Yeah, because I know Osiris and Boo Boo's player were already not
gone.
With us. Yeah, they were already gone.
He showed up during the dream sequence. Like he himself sat down during the dream sequence to see what everything was all about, and his character was introduced the following session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because wasn't it he only had been there like what 1 maybe 3 sessions before I joined.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, So he that. So yeah, he was a. Yeah, and unfortunately, because he did take Ranger, and he hadn't come. Well, no, he did take Hunter, as opposed to. He took Hunter as opposed to Beastmaster, and I mean, in all honesty, he should have taken Hunter's Mark as one of his first spells.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, he was just straight up new at the time.
Hello there, robot. How are you doing today?
Pot kettle.
Hey, the stream won't believe you. Because on my side, I'm speaking directly into OBS.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyhow, so yeah, and honestly, I don't think that we were adding I don't think he was adding the appropriate bonuses, because he did take archery, right? And I know that he did kind of have a tendency to roll crap. I think he should have found some other dice that liked him a little bit more.
Wasn't he the character that implemented the flips for rolls?
No, that was
Giorno.
No, that was before him.
Right. No,
that was Tiberius.
No, it was Adam. It was Adam's character.
Yeah,
it might have been Slim Alabaster.
Yeah, Slim. It was Slim that we decided, because he just, oh my god, he would roll like 5 1s in one session and not a single 20 to balance it out, and it was just crazy. So yeah, that's when we decided to institute that was the blackjack rule, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so yes, it wasn't the blackjack. It was the jack of spades. I think it was like the jack of spades, the jack of clubs. But,
yeah, one of them.
So I'm gonna let you know this real quick. I can't show you right now because that would be interrupting the stream a little bit. If I give Faceless the hat of disguise and the trench coat as you suggested, it makes him look like a cowboy. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I want to make him look like a cowboy, so I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep the hat of disguise in there, but I'm gonna keep moving with the chest.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep looking because that just no, that does not look good.
Well, but I mean, with that particular shirt, he straight up looks like a ninja.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't bad, but
No,
I
but he
can
wasn't
definitely
playing a
understand.
ninja. He was playing a swashbuckler. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
Let's do this. If I give him that, doesn't look too bad. Makes him look a bit more like Zorro, but I'll keep looking. I'll keep looking after the stream.
hmm
But
so
so anyway, going back to Breach. Breach as a character ultimately had a lot of potential to be extremely powerful, just from the word go of the equipment that he had and the team that he was a part of. Uh, Ironically enough, the villain team had a lot more reason to have no support than the heroes did because they would just hit like a fucking truck.
well, we were
You're
levels 9
welcome.
and 10. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest here.
Mm-hmm. And Breach as a character, because he was a very, not necessarily very silent, but a very no nonsense, you know, directly to the punch as opposed to beating around the bush.
Stoic. I would very much classify him as stoic.
Mm-hmm. Stoic. Yeah. So
I
uh, I feel like the actual campaign wouldn't diverge all that much if he had been a part of it. I do think that as a player, he would have been very. I'm gonna let the sorcerer handle Nilrim, because fuck it.
yeah,
If this guy causes me a problem, I'm just gonna fucking stab him.
yeah. Well,
Like I
I
don't know
know
what he's
that
talking about. I got no one. I don't think he would be. I don't care about Nilrim, but I don't think he would
It would have been
be
more if he
exceptionally
messes with
talkative.
me, I'm just going to kill him. Yeah,
well, and
it would
I
have been more the if he keeps messing with me, I'll just stab him.
Mm-hmm.
well, he didn't mess with us too much. I know that we descended to the bottom of that pit looking thing and took out those mummies and those scorpions.
Yep.
Which I know that particular encounter would have been a lot easier for Wraith because I know that Wraith kind of got ambushed by those scorpions,
Yep. Because he
and I know
failed his
that
dex save, killed some
yep
baby scorpions, and Mummy and Daddy weren't too pleased, and he failed his perception
Mummy
to
and Daddy
notice
got
them.
pissed, surrounded me. Mummy and Daddy got pissed, surrounded me, and then managed to not kill me somehow.
Yeah, they actually got stealth attacks on him and
mm-hmm.
dealt a
And then
significant damage.
then they decided
because
to
it's
attack each
poison.
other.
That's one of the few things that.
That was the fun
yeah.
part. They decided to attack each other. Just ha.
Yeah, I forget exactly how that happened. I think it was a natural one, and they just
I think
missed.
it was.
It was like they
Yep.
missed, hit another scorpion, and that triggered the scorpion's like self defense. Like, oh, you're attacking me too. I'm gonna hit you back first.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Well, I'm pretty sure that Faceless would have just like popped up and shanked him.
Yep. Breach would have been a very direct. All right, mummies. I'm just gonna hit you in the face with a shield before I cut your dick off.
yeah, basically.
Balls to brains.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've actually given some thought to over time writing out, you know, not Calvin style, but Calvin and Hobbes length sketches,
Mm-hmm.
and commissioning people to sketch out the artwork, because I like the characters and I've liked this series of the Lost Players, and I really just want to show people the original idea and the plan behind all these characters. I really, really do. Like, did I tell you, Matt, the original story behind Osiris, the character that you
I
never
don't
met?
think so.
The original
Yeah,
character
I
that
don't
Vic
think so.
played was a tiefling sorcerer named Osiris, who was an orphan. And from the very get-go, I had established that if any of these fuckers is an orphan, as in doesn't know who their parents are, I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. And thankfully, there was only one orphan who was a sorcerer, tiefling, who lived in a circus. And I'm like, this could not have been any better. The family were going to be tiefling vampire hunters who were eventually wiped out by vampires banding together. And Mummy Dearest realized what was happening and sent her son to the circus so that he could be protected until he grew up. And that was going to be the very first story arc until they both left. And then it was going to be, Iona being a vampire. You guys were going to meet the parents, only from a different lens. And then Iona went, and I had to fucking fall back on the horsemen, who were supposed to be end game, not the backbone. So yeah, if I had the opportunity to write the story the way I wanted it to, it would be very much like that, where I would take full advantage of the fact that I can just make these characters do what I want and actually stick around. So it would be about that. It would be finding Osiris's parents and uncovering the plot that they survived from. But yeah,
which I'm sure that Roland would have enjoyed immensely, going after a nest of vampires.
Oh yeah, you would have. I have no doubt. Yeah, Breach would have been exceptionally useful for the mummy fight. I think he would have had some fun designing rooms in the tower that you guys found /
He did design one.
No, I mean, like, he would have had more fun the first session you guys did that.
Oh, well.
Oh, when
yeah.
we were when I put 2 kitchens.
Yeah. two kitchens.
Well, when someone
I only just realized that the villain campaign characters that I've designed for this series, blue, red, purple. I only just realized blue and red make purple.
Well, they are darker colors.
Yep.
Which is
and the only one that actually does have a quote unquote brighter color is the fucking cleric. So
well, that's because sense. Yeah, it does. All right, gentlemen, I got to check on laundry. I apologize. The first
go for it. Go for it. Now, what do you think? I mean, obviously, the last time that we saw Breach was a very similar to Faceless, in that he was on the flying ship doing something with the members of the pirate crew. What do you think? Obviously, he would have been a very far more overall use than Faceless would have been in the fight against the Yuan-Ti, but how do you think he would have handled things? How do you think it would have gone down had he been there?
I think it would have gone a little smoother, and I think it would have been the same type of thing. I think he would have taken more heat off of the characters that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just would have been that, he would have taken... It would have been a similar fight for the fact that we would have had 2 tanks and all that, but he would have taken all the pressure off, I think.
Yeah. And I'm fairly certain that, sorry, false alarm again. Must be a heavier load than I thought. I know that Smoke probably would have cast haste on him, because that would have been a lot of fun seeing him make 6 attacks in a given round.
It wouldn't have been 6 because you're still only allotted 1 bonus action. But now the haste does allow you to attack again when you take the attack action, but it unfortunately doesn't double the amount of attacks you can make a turn. I had to look that up for another NPC.
Okay.
But yeah, but it allows you to move twice your normal speed. It allows you to take an additional action on your turn, and it also allows you. I forget what it does else, but yeah.
I think it also gives you a +2 bonus to.
Yes, that's right. It gives you a +2 to
your
AC. Yes.
Because
yes.
because you
Because
can
you're faster.
because you can freaking like Neo around attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it would have been.
Yeah. So do you remember what Breach's AC was?
Well, if he had the full fucking plate armor, which I don't see why he wouldn't, it would have been 20.
Mm-hmm.
It was up there.
It might have been 21, 22,
Well,
based on like,
remember,
the type of armor he
had
took.
he had plate armor and he had a shield.
I think I think he took the shield that gave him an additional plus something to defense, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been the magical item he took.
Mm-hmm.
But so obviously with Breach, it's a very simplistic, just process of elimination. This man just would have been a tank for the fight against the Yuan-Ti. How do you think the character would have responded to Lady Tiamat?
He seemed to me to be a fairly have a fairly black and white mindset. Anyone that we came across would have fallen into one of two categories. Either clear and present danger. Well, either clear and present danger or not someone that we need to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about Tiamat?
I need to kill this person now, or I can wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tiamat probably might have been more in that this person, but I'm gonna wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait and see how everybody else reacts before I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he'll be ready to lay down if need be.
Lay the smack down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. And the experiments that she was running with the monsters in her laboratory. What do you think about that? Do you think
he wouldn't have cared?
No.
No, I don't think he would have.
You don't think he would have cared about the all of these monsters and beasts that were either living or dead?
Like I said, not a threat. Don't need to worry about them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not the current threat. So we'll just.
That's fair. I feel like
then yeah, he would have dealt with them, but
you kind of went robot there a little bit, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Yeah, speaking as someone who didn't know the player as well as I would have liked to, I feel like the player would have been genuinely intrigued as to what was going on.
Yes, and I agree with you, but he really did. It's a little bit ironic though, because he did actually, like, the player himself, really enjoyed role playing, and in fact, he's like, he even mentioned that to me. He's like, I really do enjoy role playing, but which is a little bit ironic because of all the characters that he did play. Well, of the characters that he did play, Breach was probably the least role played, but that's because that's just kind of what he was. He was very stoic, a very, very almost laconic, if you will, type of guy. So which, like I said, which was like a little bit ironic because he offered the least amount of opportunity, if you will, for actual role play.
Laconic, using few words, expressing much in few words. Concise.
Yeah.
I had not heard that word before.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I can see that. I can see that. And so you remember the four beasts that you were ultimately sent out to find, of course. Which do you think he would have voted to find first, do you think?
Oh, I think he would have wanted to go for the Hydra first.
The Hydra?
I think
Personally,
so.
yeah.
Okay. And obviously, for those who weren't around for that particular episode, the four missions they have to go on and find for the beasts themselves is a Beholder, an Iron Golem, a Hydra, and a Guardian Naga. Those are the four beasts that the Ghost Rangers have to find, hunt, and bring back. Preferably alive. Live specimens are always more
Useful.
But yeah,
informative than dead ones.
but it probably would have turned into the more, oops, I killed it.
Let's hope not.
Well, I know, right? It is going to be a challenge for us to not kill these things. Well, yeah. So
Well,
we'll
there's
have
always
to.
fair
I must
dying.
specify this is not. This is non-lethal. This is really, really non-lethal. It's a natural one.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah. Right.
That yeah.
We're just gonna.
This is non-lethal damage. Natural one. You behead the thing. Fuck.
I declare this. Yeah, I declare this attack non-lethal. Crit 20. Okay, how much damage is that? Oops, that's
about
like
98.
A lot.
Yeah, 98. That's 98 points of non-lethal damage. Right.
So so you think he would have gone for the Hydra? Why is that?
Because he probably would have thought. I mean, he would have voted for it. I'm fairly certain because he ooh, Hydra, a lot of slash and chop.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of the characters that you guys met along the way, he already either met or we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like unfortunately, that's just kind of the nature of the villain campaign in regards to the lost players. There just isn't as much meat to bite into it in regards to like, well, what about this or what about that? The characters themselves are fairly simplistic and fairly straightforward for what they are, and you know, you pretty much just get the same answer every time. There's not necessarily nuances to like, oh, here's Zavanna Vale. How do you think they'd respond to her? Like, kill her. Take her hostage. I would like to take this. I would like to take this kid hostage.
Yeah. Well,
But,
yes and no.
You'd like to
Yes
do
and no.
what?
Well, there is the fact that I mean, in absolute terms, we actually haven't actually encountered that many NPCs anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we haven't interacted with a lot of NPCs that we would interact with more than just the one time of the bartender or the person that hands us something.
Yeah.
There really hasn't been any of, you're going to have to interact with this person more than once. Or this person is important to the storyline besides, here's this. Or
yeah.
Well, there is the one guy that we did save because he gave us breakfast for free.
I mean, yeah, but even then, we really haven't interacted with him besides the saving him and giving us breakfast.
Right, pretty much. Or the mother-daughter combo that I think that ran the
ran the store on the
it was
beach.
No, not the store on the beach. They weren't on the beach. They were
they supplied soup.
But
they supplied soup to the training soldiers.
Yeah.
They supplied food.
Yep.
Yeah, so they didn't really They were more focused on providing large quantities of food to soldiers rather than the cafe
actually
that I think
getting
they were.
Yeah, it was more, we're going to get as much food out as we possibly can to these people, and if they decide to buy something else, we're happy about it. But that's not the main goal of this.
Yeah. I think if I recall correctly, weren't they basically just like a cafe that had the capability of churning out large quantities of or larger quantities of food?
Not necessarily. No, it was.
Well, because I know that they were basically
more of a legit cart, like a wagon that they were working out of.
Okay.
There was more what I envisioned for the actual look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a soup stand or a lemonade stand or something like that. That was expanded a bit to accommodate the actual number of bowls and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like the character himself really wouldn't trouble himself with those type of characters, really.
No, you're right. Not really.
No.
So, just kind of neither here nor there. I can. So, how about? I had something and then I lost it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That happens when you get older.
Oh, I know. I'm so old. 25. So how about this? You said that you didn't like the pauldrons. Matt, what pauldrons do you remember? Do you think would look good with Breach? Because from what I've heard, Breach is like got one thing that y'all don't really like about it that can be easily changed. Faceless is the one that needs a bit of a rework. So
with pauldrons,
hello, robot. How are you doing?
Hi. With the pauldrons, it's not that they don't look good; they do look good, but it's a matter of feasibility. Because as soon as he tries to raise his sword up, clang.
Well, yeah, and that's why we're doing this right here. Because we have the opportunity to make quick fixes and quick changes, so that tomorrow I can finalize the order, get them over here, and hopefully have them all painted around the 25th of December. Or at the very least, like, the day after. Like, here's your Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, you know Hero Forge better than Carl does. So what can you think of off the top of your head that you think would look good with his overall design?
Well, you would need something that would be a little more... Something that would go out more than up. Would be ideal. Unless we want to eliminate
Hero Forge real quick on my computer so I can actually give you the name of it.
How dare you multitask?
Yes. There are a few of them. I think some of the bigger, like, smooth ones would be nice.
Well, you guys discuss this. I'm going to check on laundry again. Be back in 5.
Or 1. If it's a false alarm. All the way down to Breach.
This. I mean, the plate mail ones would be okay, but I think he'd need something that's more... That would be more kind of, I don't know, sinister. Maybe the spiked pauldrons.
I mean, something that I could think about would be the horned pauldrons. They kind of go out and around a little bit, but
or even like the heavy metal or the elven heavy armor ones.
Elven heavy armor. It's entirely possible, but I will say that I've already used that one for the Almighty.
Yeah. You've got like the ridged shoulder armor.
All the way down. That's the blackguard. Where's the ridged ones? Spiral shell.
They're
Spiked.
they're right below the shoulder armor and right above the power armor shoulder pads.
Right above. There's tactical armor, heavy shoulder.
So you've got the horned, and then it's dwarven armor, power armor, and then the
there
ridged.
it is. There
In
it is.
ascending order.
Yep, I see him. Maybe.
I mean, but if you wanted like more of the like spiked look, even the layered shoulder ones might look good.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I never liked the ridged shoulder armor, primarily because it just it looked like wood.
Yeah. That was I mean that's kind of the same complaint I had, that it looked like wood. That's it might look good for his character if you painted it.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of
But I
digging
think it'd come
the
down
heavy
to
shoulder plates. The heavy shoulder plates actually don't look too bad.
which ones are those? Those are
They're 2 down from the spiked pauldron, the one with the 3 spikes in them, and right above the samurai armor.
oh yeah, those.
Mm-hmm.
Those they actually don't look too bad. Because they're bigger, bulky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the layered ones don't look bad either, depending on how you'd paint them. Because they got a few. They look. If you painted them right, it'd be like 3 rows of spikes.
There we go. Swapping over to this. Doesn't actually want to fucking work with me here. But this is what we're gonna do. Here we go. Oh shit, what the hell?
What did you do?
Oh no.
You break something?
Maybe a little bit. Apparently, the thing does not like... apparently OBS does not like that. OBS did not like that at all. I was switching over to my Firefox for that, and apparently it registered something else over that. So, all right. Hopefully this works. And it doesn't actually mess things up. Hopefully. Because I would like this to not mess up. Okay. Should be good. Should be good here. Are we good? It looks like we're good. Yes, we are perfectly good here. Okay, fucking finally. Good, that's nice. Now that means I can change windows. There we go. Now, yes. Now you can see my Hero Forge. There we go. So yeah. Boom. The heavy plate one's right over there. Studded leather. Doesn't actually look too bad. But I'm digging the smoothness of it.
For some reason, there it is. Why aren't... okay, why doesn't it let me see that? Oh, well.
Oh, it's not, interesting.
Well, right now it's just that the 2 spinning bars.
Okay, I'll turn this off, and then I'll turn it back on. Hero Forge, custom minis. All right. It says
There
I'm
we
live
go.
on my
Now
end.
it's back. Yeah, it was for some reason it wasn't live. It didn't go live.
Okay. Gotcha. Welcome to the magic of, well, technology, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you can see the pauldrons now, right? Currently I've got the horn pauldrons on there, and then the small ones.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so what do you think about the horn pauldrons instead? Because I'm not gonna lie, I do like it, but I feel like it's like the horns are becoming a bit too much.
I think they're it's a little much for the. I think it'd be a little much.
All right, how about these?
Even though it look interesting, but
Mhm. So how about those ones? These the paladins pauldrons.
I like those, but it doesn't really match the style. I think those heavy. I think the simple, heavy ones would match a little bit more.
Okay.
But especially if you go for the fact, or especially if you're going with the um, aspect that he's taken armor from other places, I think that would actually match a little bit more of.
Okay.
Yeah,
Keeping
he's
it
taken
simple.
armor from this person and this person and this person.
Yeah. You know, I can see that. I can see that. Like the only armor that he's legitimately like custom made for himself is the helmet.
Yeah,
Okay. Everything else is
he's got the
is like
piecemeal.
simple.
Everything is piecemeal.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's. Ooh, I like this off of this person. Ooh, I like this off of this person.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Okay.
I've always wanted this off my comrade,
That'll do it. That'll
and now
do it.
he's dead, so I can take it.
All right. The plate mail doesn't look too bad, but I feel like I've put myself in love with the heavy plate.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too damn fucking small. Yeah, the horns are definitely too much. Hmm. That doesn't look too bad. The splint armor pauldrons?
That actually doesn't. That might actually be the best of all of them.
Maybe. That actually might, yeah. That might actually be
We'll see
pretty
what
good.
Carl says, but that actually I think looks the best out of all of them because it's that like
Ooh.
yeah that those are the ones I was talking about.
The layered shoulder armor. Okay. Those ones don't look like wood. Ooh. Okay, now it's a tie between those two.
Mm-hmm.
The splint and the layered. Because, oh my. Because, oh my, those both look really good for this. They both look really good. What do you think?
I think right there looks probably the best.
The layered?
I mean, I like the layered, but we'll see. I mean,
Oof.
look, the layered looks really nice.
Uh-huh. So let's grab this. That one. Alright. If this thing would stop. Thank you. Oh. That was on. That was something. Yes. Yes. Let's see. How about those ones? Does this look good on that? A little bit. Oh, yeah, that's good. Put blood on those spikes.
Yes.
Like, why the hell not?
Back armor too. Put blood on the back ones as well.
Boop. Like I fucking backed up into some asshole. That's the result. All right, so
Someone
while
tried
we're
to flank
here,
me, so I squished him against the wall.
right? So while I'm here and while this thing is saved, what do you think of the pose? Do you think the pose is good, or do you think I should go with something a bit more? I don't know, more like that, but with with the shield in front, obviously, and the sword a bit more where it was. So let's actually very quickly.
I think that other one is. Yeah, let's see, so I can see what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But
Like shield in front, kind of like that. Extend the arm, there's like the shoulders a little bit, so that it actually goes forward, and not. I mean, I do need that, but let's try this. Yeah, kind of like a little bit like this, but with a sword arm, a bit
kind
more
of tilted
down.
in,
Pointed, but more to the ground. The problem is the elbow doesn't always accommodate for that.
want to work. Yeah.
But we can twist it.
Pop it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the way that's looking right now, because that's more that ready stance of I'm just gonna sit here
Mm-hmm.
and.
So can
Ooh.
you, so can you see the pose all right, Carl?
Yes, I can.
Now this is
Oh,
more
yeah.
or less like, okay, so we're liking
No,
this pose a bit more?
yes, yeah. This looks like, yes, this definitely looks like I'm gonna bash your face in with my shield and then come in with my sword.
All right then. And in that case, fuck it. Both of y'all like it, so I'm saving that pose. Because I like it too. I genuinely do.
And those are some nice pauldrons as well.
Indeed, that's actually what we were hoping you would come back and help us finalize, because we've got it narrowed down to two.
Mhm.
Those ones and these ones. Obviously, just ignore the color variations. But
Yeah. Those ones aren't bad, but they're still a little bit high. My big issue is that the horns on the helmet, which really go with the character, but they would very much interfere with motion in in combat, which is not something that you want.
All right. So
No.
we're going with these pauldrons.
Yeah, they received my stamp of approval.
All right.
Yeah,
Matt.
I like those a lot.
All right. And so finally, one last look at the original that I had.
It is unfortunate that the horn is
Yes,
the one
and
horn
that's not an issue, because I can very quickly I can go back into the pose, advanced, the right pauldron, and we can. Unfortunately, I'll need to make some poses, edits to where it ultimately sits. And you know what? I'm actually going to do something a little risky here, but not really. And I'm actually just going to get rid of the shield so that I can see what I'm doing. Because so far, the only thing that's kind of poking in is that front bit of the horn.
just the tip.
Uh-huh. And this is the big problem that I've got. Maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe. There we go. Just move the shoulder.
Okay. Oh, he looks sinister now.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, the original idea that I had for this character was to have the shield on the back, and I could just do that with the helmet. That was the original goal.
Yeah.
What does this look like that? Okay. That's much better. Okay, now let's hope that the shield actually
Will
still
retain its color scheme.
Not necessarily the color scheme, because the color scheme I can always fucking find back. I was referring to the pauldron and the fact that it would retain its where it's supposed to be.
Its location.
Yes. Now the only issue I see post that is how will this ultimately fare? So let's actually just do this. Tilt, not twilt. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I am gonna need to do some editing because otherwise it's too damn close.
So, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, do you think he should have the sword raised? Or do you think it just looks like it's in the process?
In what way?
Like, to strike? Or you kind of like how it is?
I actually kind of like it how it is because it's more of that.
Okay.
I'm just standing. I can kill you at any moment, standing here ready to go.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. Yeah.
Especially with the way he is more that intimidating character of I'm just going to stand here and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will attack you when I feel like it.
Yeah, this is going to be an issue that Hero Forge needs to fix in the sense that for all the stuff that you can do with the poses, I do not like the fact that in order to move the whole arm, you have to move the shoulder and its entire position. Like that's speaking as someone who makes armor and has worn armor, that doesn't happen. Like I could wear that helmet with these pauldrons and be completely fine, but because of how Hero Forge is designed, so maybe I can just do that, lower the shoulder and then put it forward a bit. Yeah, that works. That's fine. You know, but because of all the way the Hero Forge is designed, it doesn't always work that way. Let's see if I can.
Well, now you're running into the issue of it cutting into his knee.
What the hell is that? That's the.
You broke his elbow.
Yeah, like I can't actually straighten his elbow. That's why it's having so much of an issue.
You broke his arm.
I can't straighten his elbow. I can't. It only bends inward. Oh fuck. That's why I'm having such a fucking hard time with this thing. I can't actually straighten out his arm.
Must be the pauldrons.
Yeah, it's all the pauldron's fault.
What about clavicle? If you tweak the clavicle a little bit, do you think maybe that'll
I mean,
will lift the arm up a little bit?
Well, no, the problem isn't with the elbow because the elbow is going to stay that way because of the pose. No, because of the pose.
Yeah. Oh,
the pose has the arms locked in place to a specific code, and you can't actually change it. It's very much the same with like the feet and the legs. You cannot alter the legs in any way, which sucks. And it's the same process with the shoulder. Sorry, not the shoulder. The elbow here. The elbow, you just don't have anything. So twist. Maybe that works. Elbow.
Elbow, twist.
Yeah. Then the wrist. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I just want him to be able to extend that arm.
To the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but you can't. Like it's just tucked in there.
Well, you've got the bend all the way to one side. What happens if you
like this is the pose, no mods. That's the pose, no mods right there. That's his left elbow. That's where it is locked. If I edit the elbow to all the way open, it doesn't actually extend and open the elbow.
Oh God!
It doesn't actually extend the elbow. It just rotates it. That's the thing. It's only rotating
it just dislocates the arm.
Well, see on the shoulder. What if you tweak the bend a little bit, maybe?
Again, like that'll solve the rotation on the elbow. So not the elbow, the shoulder.
The elbow
is its own thing. You can't actually extend
Well,
it.
the thing is, you need to bring the okay. What's not the forearm, but what's behind the forearm?
The forearm?
So you need to bring that forward, like instead of it's tucked in like that. You need to bring it forward like that.
Well, hold on. I'm not seeing you. What are you doing?
So his shoulders
Mhm.
is tucked in like that. You need to bring it forward like that. That will grant you.
That's what I'm.
The,
That's
the,
ultimately what I'm trying to do with this, because like if I can do that, that does this, but it also clips the horn.
mm-hmm,
So that's why I'm like leaving it at about there, because about
mm-hmm.
there, you can argue that the horn's not clipping
Yeah.
through. That, and the rest of it has to be here. That's about as high as I can twist. Why the fuck would you want to bend? Yeah, that's about all I can do with it.
Oh my God, his wrist is broken.
I know. I shouldn't have to do that. I should not have to do that. You should just be able, like, this whole problem would be solved if they had just, like, if this bar right here was actually fucking extending the elbow as opposed to just fucking
Or if they
rotating the
gave
damn
you
thing.
or if they gave you another couple bars like they do for all the others,
Mm-hmm.
the bend, the tilt, the extend.
Yeah. Because I can tell you this, like I like this pose, but I have to tell you that because of how things are, because of how this system is coded, I have to fucking bend over backwards to get it to where it actually looks good.
Mm-hmm. Like he's
Also,
actually.
right here, just by clicking it, pauldron jumps. I did not move the bar in any way, but the pauldron jumped. Like right even there. Like that one, you could argue that I moved it 0.2,
Yep.
but it still jumped. Like if it gives you the option of having it be where it is right there, I should be allowed to get back to where it was using that same system. All right, there's that. Move it up. That's down. Side. That's up. Wow. That is weird. That is very misleading, actually. Yeah, maybe I just had to fuck around with the pauldrons a little bit. There we go. How about... I see that. Now it's a little bit clipping into the legs. Hold on. Alright. Bend. There's that. Twist. There we go. It's looking better. I'm not seeing any clipping with the pauldrons, so that's good. Okay. Okay. Better?
Yeah. Yeah, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Much better. This is the new Breach pose.
Nice.
A very
he definitely looks like the Evil Knight.
how about that with the arm then? A bit more forward.
Yeah, that is definitely the Evil Knight look. I like it.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to trust you two here. I want you to look away for a moment because there are a couple of models in here that you guys haven't met yet, but have been printed. So I don't want you to run the risk of accidentally seeing a name. All right, going down to Lost Players, Faceless. There we go. You should be able to look again.
I was gonna say, come on, Matt, put the notepad away.
Must take notes.
Must take notes on who you may or may not encounter.
Who do I need to worry about right now? Okay, that person, that. Oh shit! Now I need to deal with this person.
All right, looking down, going down all the way to the Hat of Disguise. Here it is. There's the hat.
Ah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Now we're actually going to change
see what
the
you mean.
color. Yeah. So I'm going to change the color immediately, just so that even after the fact, it'll still be color coordinated and won't stick out too much. But but again, you'll see that if I use the swashbuckler outfit for him, it will make him look like a pirate. No, I'm sorry, not a pirate, a fucking cowboy. The hat and the coat makes him look like a pirate, so I'm gonna have to find something else in terms of leather.
Let's see here.
So Matt, what do you think in terms of like something else from like this night rogue? Because we've got the robes, but that doesn't always look too good.
There were some ones that had some really large, like cross stitches in the front that I thought
Could just have. I mean, you could just do the that harness. I mean, that would be just have them wear that.
Yeah, the harness.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, we can do
awkward
that.
as all hell.
God.
Just there.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so nice. Let's here, keep scrolling down.
There's there's this.
It's not bad, but
Now we can get rid of the buckle in the front.
Keep scrolling down.
All right.
Let's see here. Keep going.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
hold on.
that.
How about the one right below that one?
All right.
I mean that.
The tattered jacket.
That's a little more piratey looking, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, I like that one, but also it's
revealing too much of his chest.
Yeah.
that's my issue with it. Like, I like it,
Stop with this. No, the one.
but
Okay.
it's
The one in the center.
it's open too much.
Oh, here we go. So the one in the center, and then go two up.
A vest?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the tattered blouse?
No, the vest, the one that you had, the biker vest. That kind of looks piratish.
And there's also this, but once again, you've got the fucking belts on the side.
Yeah. How about the one just to the right of that?
That would be the warlock chest piece.
Oh, yeah. Okay, definitely not that. Hey, look, we can give them some frickin' seashells.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's also the gambeson. Yeah, this is the main problem that you see what I mean when talking about designing Faceless, because like so many things, like depending on because of who he is and what he wears, like you can it completely offsets the look.
Right.
Every single chest piece we throw in there.
I mean, you could give him.
He's not going to be armored because he didn't have heavy armor.
Mm-hmm.
You could do the football chest piece. The football jersey. It's a simple design.
Yeah,
and then just change it. I mean, because it's a very simple design.
See, that still looks metallic. Oh, hold on. The one that you just had. Before that one. Nope. Go back. The other one that you had right before.
Like these are the only three that you spoke up
Okay.
after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah, cause
Nope,
we
not
got,
that one.
because we've got all these. But,
Okay. Nah. I definitely see what you're saying, yeah, but
yeah, that's actually the chest piece that Morgan eventually went with. Up and running on Xfinity. Because if we can do that, if we can literally just stream off of Xfinity, I think I'll do that from now on, so that I don't have to fucking worry about my internet crashing.
Xfinity?
That if we can literally just
so you're gonna go off of someone else's then?
No, Xfinity is literally just there.
Okay.
It's there because it's a part of the building.
Oh,
itself.
it's part and parcel with the. Okay.
But no, like this is the chess piece that you saw earlier and really liked.
Okay.
So, and let's take that. Boom.
I like the looks of that. It looks a little, futuristic, but no, that looks good. What do you think, Matt?
I like that now that it's colored to match the rest of his
Yeah,
outfit. I think
that does
would be what he would wear. Something simple, something
flexible.
Something.
Goes crazy. Don't mind if I do.
All right. So far we've got that. And do you think we should get rid of the pauldrons?
I was debating that myself, honestly. Unless you could go with something a lot more simple than what it was.
Maybe not necessarily simpler, but we can still work with this now that we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this one says stealth leather.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually.
All right. And these are the ooh no.
By the way.
Way too big.
By the way.
What is up?
His eyebrows are a different color from his hair.
I know.
Okay.
I just haven't gotten to that.
Oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay.
Oh, again?
It hiccuped.
Okay. Well, a hiccup is fine. As long as it's a hiccup and not a crash, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like those stealth. Well, those might work.
Yeah, the tactical armor.
I think that works really well with that shirt.
Then we've got these ones, the techno organic.
Uh-huh. Go with the tactical.
Alright, undoing onto tactical.
I like the looks of that.
Okay.
And then I think you should... The boots are cool, but I'm wondering if you should switch the green to blue.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean, it does go with it because it does match the sheath on that dagger.
Mm-hmm. Possibly, well, if you're able to change the line on his toe to blue.
Yeah.
Like the line down the center to more of a blue. That might look good, and then leave the other part.
How's that then? Because I know that I wanted it to be a different color than the rest, but at the same time, I didn't want it to be like a bright red. And these pieces right here are more or less a reference of the fact that the actual spikes will be red, and the bands will be a different color entirely. I think I might just leave them like a more metallic blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looks good.
All right, this one looks good.
Yeah, I think that actually does. I think that does look good right there.
Okay. So in that case, would it be in head? No. Would that be in masks? No. Gear, that's what it was. So in this case, I think we should stick to that. More like that. Or yo.
What about
Well,
that
if he's not
bottom
trying
one?
to stand out, if he's trying to stand out, that one might work.
There's
But
also
if he's
this
trying
cigar.
to just be,
I'm here to chew gum and kick ass, and I've already chewed all my gum. Actually, go back to the bandana. Okay.
Yeah, because then there's this one, that one, and then there's the surgical mask.
look, he's
He's
wearing his
COVID
COVID mask.
ready. Go with that one. Go with that one. It's a little bit smoother.
All right, so not this one, that one.
Right.
All right, we got one vote for this one, the ninja mask versus the outlaw mask.
I think the ninja mask fits better.
All right, makes sense. We can go with that. Bit farther out, get a nice wide
Too bad we
view.
can't give him like a turtleneck or something like that to get rid of it, because
Oh, actually, hold on. Unavailable with your selection. Why?
probably because it already is a shirt.
What? That's a neck. Give me the necklace. Okay, so we know this. We all like this, so I'm gonna save that, so I don't have to color everything in case I do this goes wrong. Get rid of that shirt so I can. Oh, those are shoulders. There we go. Here are the neck options. We've got necklaces and whatnot. There's a bandana. Where is it? The scarf. Boom.
Ooh. Oh.
Yes. You see where I'm going with this. If I had the
Yeah.
option,
Yeah.
if I had the option to keep that shirt here and that fucking scarf, that would be.
Well, hold on.
Mwah.
Go back.
What?
Is did I see an ascot as one of the options there for neck?
It's a bandana, but yeah.
No, but on the very bottom.
At the very bottom, there's a spiked collar.
the,
It's a bow tie. Choker pendant.
the bottom row of 3, but the middle.
You got the dog collar too.
Right? And yeah, you've got this, yeah.
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 Can we put that? Because I could definitely see that under that chest armor that we had.
Nope. It literally just denies you all access to the neck pieces.
Okay.
And it's so fucking bad. It's
Yeah.
legit so much bad. Like, what is the point of having the option of putting, like, neck pieces on there when...
If you're not able to use them.
Yeah, if you're not able to use them for half of the stuff that you put in there. And I forgot what pauldrons we used on these. Tactical, that's the one they were. Tactical. There we go. But yeah, and like the scarf would have worked perfectly. Like there's so many options for the necks that would have been totally doable with this. And I'm really hoping they're working on that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're putting them in, they probably are.
Yeah, maybe. Like the boots, if you've got boots on and you have like cat feet, I can understand that. Because the boots just aren't designed for that. Mm-hmm. But come on. It's a necklace. Design it so that the necklace goes over the shirt. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, you would think.
Like, it's literally just a different sketch. Just give us a different sketch work.
This very much looks like what I imagined Faceless to be.
Okay.
Can you fix the eyebrows?
Oh, you don't like the eyebrow color?
I mean, it looks like he had his hair dyed.
You don't like the eyebrow color? Okay, I'll change that real quick.
Gold eyebrows.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I had envisioned Faceless as a redhead.
well, you could it's just the fact that it didn't match with the eyebrows, which is bugging me. You can make his hair red. I don't care.
All right, so let's actually go to paints, hair. What bugs me is that they don't have a feather option. Let's see.
Not gray.
Oh,
Yes, he must have silver hair.
trust. Oh, you doubt my abilities too much, my good fellows. There we go. Nice and black. And this. There we go.
Silver threaded.
Silver threaded.
How old is he?
Not that. There we go.
Well, they have been fighting for a long time. I don't think he was that old, but they
Yeah.
have been fighting for a while.
I was thinking more orange streaks. Redhead. There we go. Oop. Accidentally pressed the wrong. There it is. Low. Bada bing, bada boom. Keep in mind that all of this detail goes out the window as soon as it's in my hand. And I have to paint this myself.
Uh-huh.
And there we are. That one right there. So, obviously I'll have to... Yeah?
That works.
Now, obviously I'm going to touch up on the pauldron, make sure it's not clipping as bad into the cape, but spoiler alert, there's not much I can do about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll just paint the feather whatever I want when it gets here, but what do you guys think that feather's color should be inside my frame of reference here?
Well, what color is it in the DMG?
Well, the DMG doesn't actually say anything. It can be any hat you want. My campaign, like, DeGrisniak's hat of disguise is this.
Oh, so DeGrisniak has the hat of disguise. I didn't know that. But that makes a lot of sense for a merchant, though.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have to leave town in a hurry.
Yep.
Yes, possibly because your half-orc bodyguard decides to do something.
Indeed.
Well,
it also helps with gathering intel on your competitors.
True.
Yeah.
All right. The new designs of Faceless and the new pose for Breach. And by the way, did you get a chance to talk to the others about whether or not he'd prefer Tiberius or the Almighty?
Not Keith yet. I did talk with Adam, and Adam he was actually pretty excited about getting a statue of Giorno.
A statue of Giorno, huh?
Well, that's a model.
He already has Giorno. I gave him to use that you can give to him.
Oh yeah, yes. I haven't given it to him yet, but I don't think he would necessarily, I can ask him if he wants. Faceless as well. If you are of a mind to make this for him as well.
I mean, the reason why I designed Faceless and not Giorno is because I had assumed that when I said, here, give this back to him, he bought it, it's not mine, that you would have given it to him.
I will.
The,
I just have
months that have transpired since that.
Well, the last few weeks, it's been spotty if he's been there or not. Mm-hmm. So, COVID, Mm. So what is the hat of? Is it literally called the hat of many faces, or
the hat of many faces,
or the what is Faceless's hat called?
I mean, I'm fairly certain it's just a hat of disguise. Yeah, because he, uses it to disguise his face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, that's what we've got.
They look good. I like them.
You like them?
I do.
Okay, so let's see what happens when that fucking jumps. Again, I really don't like it when they decide, oh hey, by the way, they're just gonna fucking jump just by touching the button. I actually think I like that. Tilt. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah, tweaking of the pauldrons.
Yes, and it's kind of ironic because it seems that we have more issues with the pauldrons than any other feature on the model.
Oh, absolutely. And I think primarily it's just due to the fact that they don't know where to position the pauldrons themselves. And the fact that the pauldrons by necessity seemingly have to be really fucking thick.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that most pauldrons, even the ones that are legitimately like overblown, are like generally are designed in such a way that you can still tilt your head back and forth because they're very much aware that you don't use your pauldrons to deflect blows to your neck per se. That's what that's a different piece of armor that is literally a metallic collar that goes around your neck. The pauldrons are designed to protect your shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah. They still help overall, but now that I've said that, that's also a reason why their current selection of neck pieces is bullshit. Because they should give me an option to put on that fucking neck piece.
Yeah, armored collar.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, get on that, Hero Forge, please.
Well, let's just overlook all the other wondrous things that they can provide and just focus on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It is irritating, but I mean, they would have to blend.
Oh no, like I've said, and I've told Matt this many fucking times, for all of the stuff that I can find missing from this site, the site like existing in the state that it does is genuinely more than, it's more than I could have asked for in the first place.
Yeah.
Because
hey, out of curiosity, is what's the beer guy?
The beer
the last
guy.
beer? Yeah, your the person who generally attends these little sessions, who channels in.
Oh, Beers.
Beers, yes.
Yep. He's not here at the moment.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I'm just curious if he has had any recommendations or comments.
Yeah, not at the moment. He, for all intents and purposes, he usually just pipes up about something that we're saying or whatnot. He was the one who made a comment earlier about how there really aren't a lot of genuine like leather chest piece options, and even the ones that do exist are rather debatable, especially for what we were going with right here. Yeah. I can twist it. I can't change the grip position, which is unfortunate. And did you think that the sword was a good one? Like
yes.
The sword choice that we got?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, as I do recall, he did actually have a saber.
Okay.
And it is a saber, and it definitely looks. Yeah, and I kind of like that position that you have it in, where it looks like he's like pulling it from behind his back.
Mm-hmm. I had thought about using the falchion as well,
Well,
And
that would
I've
work.
already got it saved, so I don't need to worry about it too much. And then, of course, there's the scimitar here.
Yeah, could he have the falchion behind his back?
He could have. It would just be a little strange.
See, now that's that cutlass there. That's very much a pirate weapon, but he had a saber. He didn't have a cutlass.
That's the falchion. Going back to pose, advanced, and reversed. And then, of course, just twisting it this way so it's not clipping into his wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all of these.
That's not bad, but I like that. I like the other one that you had.
Okay, I kind of figured as well. I liked it too, but I figured as long as we're here and as long as we've got Matt here for until he has to go to work, which actually is fairly soon, I imagine.
Yep.
But then of course there's the cutlass, again another very pirate weapon, but this version of the falchion is what we had before.
Yep.
The elven curved blade was an option, but much like how one of the weapons I've got going on is exclusively for the frost blade, sorry, the fire blade. This one's for the frost blade.
Mm-hmm.
The frostbite or whatever. The kopesh.
Frost brand.
Frost brand. Thank you.
I believe that's what it's called. Yeah.
Here's the saber, but I'm not gonna lie, I felt it was a bit too short.
It is a little short, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Like, I remember them saying that they were going to add an option to increase and decrease the length of these blades. But so far, they just haven't done that yet, and it's irritating.
Hey, you can give him a buster sword. Haha.
Oh, yeah. They've made a lot of additions since you've been away. You want him to wield the Monado? Behold the power of the Monado. But yeah, the like I've said, like for all of the stuff that they could add in or they could fix or tweak, the very fact that they have all these options in the first place is genuinely good, and I'm not going to fault them for the options that they do put in here. There are a couple of them that I know
what they're able to do is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we'd like to see them be able to do is another.
Yeah. Like I would like to see them put in honest fucking two-handed martial arts poses in here. Because so far, and I'm just going to use this for the time being, these are the options you've got for two-handed weapon. Defensive stance, cowardly stance, incoming stance, sword plunge, advancing attack, and heroic stance. Those are the 6 options you have. Can you tell me a few things that are missing from this selection?
How about a stab?
Thank you. How about a pose where you're actually like in kendo? Give us a pose like kendo. They have samurai swords. They have samurai swords, but they don't give us a kendo stance.
No, they don't give you any of the actual sword forms you can actually have. Yeah, I can never remember the names of some of them, but yeah,
there's the kendo on guard, which is like
there's the on guard. There's the one that's directly above the head.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't they call it? They call it the suicide stroke, don't they? Where you're holding it above your head.
Because I can't remember what that one is called, but I know it's got a specific name. You've got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like the sword plunge is the only genuinely good one, and even then is very limited.
Well, yeah, and you really only want to use that for like a one of the large swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, then the other one that I'd love to see is like going to like the what is it? One of the action stances. Like you have the stance from with the two hand with the sword down by your side, back ready to strike. I'd love to see that.
If if you have any question as to the number of stances that you can have, just in the terms
Just
of
watch
like
JoJo.
even in a even in the context of something as specific as the Japanese, look at Mitsurugi's move list from Soul Calibur. There are so many
Yes.
poses that he can take that would be perfect for a 3D model. They just don't have this in there. Or hell, like you can even take the various positions from Siegfried Stoffen. You know, you can have him in there. That's just another example from Soul Calibur. But of course, you've also got the figureheads from, say, like The Witcher, or I had the name, like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, maybe. Despite the fact that pretty much all of them wield one-handed weapons, you know, you have HEMA, you have European martial arts that use a two-handed pose, and they've got those, you know, those kind of like off-centered grips where it's kind of like angled to like a diagonal.
Or you've got some of the ones from like some of the fencing techniques, the weird ones, like the one where you're actually holding the blade of the weapon.
Yep, reverse
And
grip,
have it
you can do
where you're
that.
holding the front, the tip of the blade, and having
Yes,
hitting
that's
somebody with the pommel. You have a lot of the weirder stances that.
You can also, like, even the half grip. You can do a half grip stance where you're holding the grip of your blade, and with your other hand you're gripping lower on the blade, so you can have better point control. Have a stance like that where your character's just kind of
Well, especially with the flamberge, right?
Yep.
Because that's how it was designed. You're supposed to be able to choke up. You know, you use the you hold it at the normal, you know, in the normal fashion. You don't fight in close quarters with that. You that was used to chop off the heads of spears, and then you would choke up when you get into close range combat because you had more maneuverability that way.
Yeah, nothing so specific. You definitely could do that with a flamberge, but you know, back then they were able to make metal lighter and lighter, and that's how you would get bigger and bigger swords, because they were able to heat the metal and forge the swords with, you know, less heavy material and less heavy techniques.
Yeah.
You could do that. You definitely could. No doubt about that. But, you know, like half-handing the sword, reverse gripping the sword, you know, all manner of two-handed styles are out there, and they give us 6 poses that do not look good at all, except maybe one. Like, one of them looks good. But, like, can you tell me a single character that you've designed that would make use of this pose? A pose that, with the exception of the torso, you cannot alter. You cannot change.
I don't know. I can kind of see Wraith doing that.
No, he's more of a.
He's the more
I hit
intimidating.
you until you die.
Like, you've got the advancing attack here, which, I don't know, is a little better. But it looks more like a baseball stance than an incoming stance.
Yeah.
Sorry, not advancing. Like, I'm just going to say it, that does not look like an advancing stance to me.
No, that looks like more. That's more of a stance that I would take if I'm walking into somewhere, like I'm walking through somewhere and I want to be able to. That's more of the I'm walking into a room, or I'm walking out of a room. I'm not walking into battle.
Mm-hmm.
Or you may be walking into the room and you're not sure if there are enemies there.
So this one is called defensive stance. Tell me, what is that defending you from?
Cuffed to the ears, apparently.
Like,
that's more the that's more of a, like, that stance is more of I just took a swing and my sword just rebounded off of something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like, look at the legs. Like, look at where the feet are placed. That is off balanced as hell.
Yeah, no, that's the more I just got surprised, or I just had to take a step back because because my sword's rebounding, especially the way that foot is placed.
Yeah.
Time to go to work?
Yeah.
No, that's one of my wake up alarms.
Oh.
And this one's the cowardly stance, which this pose proves that they have the ability to put the sword in front of the figure and out. Like, all they need to do is put the elbows out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Put the elbows out a bit, straighten up these legs, give them a bit of a wider stance, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got an excellent two-handed come at me bro stance.
And then that one, like, to me,
And all
the
honesty,
stance before that is more the cowardly stance, and that's more of a I'm getting ready to lunge.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, it's more of a lunge stance.
That's the more cowardly stance to me. That one
It kind
is
of
more
looks like
that I'm
your
getting ready
legs are
to
ready to
lunge
spring.
forward with my blade,
You're ready to
or
pounce.
I'm sneaking into a room.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you've got incoming attack, the incoming stance. Now, again, like, this one's better than defensive stance by virtue of the legs and their overall position, and the fact that your arms are still up, but not like covering your face. This one's better, but it's still not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you've got your heroic stance, which I don't know, man.
Taking a stand, it's all right, but it's not very good.
Yeah. It's all right. Like, honestly, the sword plunge is still the best one, but the heroic stance, I feel like it could benefit from narrowing the legs a little bit, dropping the right elbow a little bit, and making it look more like making it look like this was designed for a statue.
Yeah.
The type of statue that sees a heroic figure gazing up at the stars, looking towards the future, sword drawn in both hands.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say it right now. Like, whether or not you wield a blade like that, if a blade is going to be on my left side like this, my left hand is going to be higher up on the grip than my right. Like, if I'm holding the sword,
that's an like I even just sitting here and doing it. That's awkward.
It's a little awkward, and it
Because
doesn't really
if
look
my
all that
left
good.
hand is on the bottom, I'm not going to be unless I'm trying to parry something, or I'm backslash and I'm following through. I'm not putting my sword on that side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that's not like even just sitting there, that's to me, I'm not starting something from over there.
And you can reverse it, but it's still the same thing. Now it's the left hand that's over where it should be the right,
Yeah, it's I'm gonna my hands are gonna be reversed on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, again, like, we've only got these 6 options. None of them are very good, and the option to change them, whether or not they can do it feasibly or not, they just haven't given us the option for it.
Yeah.
And if we were allowed to edit it, even if the editing process was far more rigid in what you were allowed to do, having some ability to edit where these arms are would be so much better than what they ultimately gave us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also,
Like, even if I had to keep the
all of
stance
this
the same,
yeah.
all I'd want to do is switch the arms.
And then you'd be
Just
able to make that
switch the
better.
hand placement.
Yeah, you'd be able to make that so much better by allowing us to switch the position of the hands around, so that the hand that's closer to the chest is on top, and the hand that's reaching around is on the bottom.
Yeah. Because, like, even
look at how much
coming
this guy
from,
has
like,
to extend. The guy
well,
has to
coming
extend
from
his arms so much.
coming from baseball, that is, your hands are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only time you're ever that your hands are absolutely reversed on that. Because that's
Well,
the only way my
wonder-
hand's going to end up like that is if it's on a follow through.
Yeah, well,
And
that
even
might
then-
that actually might be the case. He might actually. I mean, that might be. Hey, I just took a swing and it was a successful hit, and now now my sword is on the other side, and it's time to,
And maybe you can definitely spin it that way. We're not saying you can't. We're just
Yeah.
saying that, like, if this is supposed to be a stance, not necessarily like the end result of a move, that's not where we're going to be holding our position.
Especially, I mean, with the feet placement too. To
Oh,
me,
don't
looking
get me
at the feet,
started on the feet, man.
that's not a like
Okay,
if that's what they were going with was that was
What
a
is he
strike,
dancing?
then his feet are wrong.
can you tell me what's wrong with this pose here?
He's freaking dancing.
He's way off balance.
Way off
The
balance.
center of gravity is way too far back.
He's about ready to fall over.
Yeah, there's a reason why in martial arts they tell you to point your heel at the enemy when you're kicking. There's a reason for that because that's when you're at the most balance.
Plus,
Obviously,
Even if
like,
he's
unless
not-
you're
even
like you're
if
kicking
you're
straight
not, his
forward.
arm, his arms are in the wrong spot.
Now your arms you can edit, so that's not too big of a deal.
No,
But the legs, the fact that you cannot edit the legs in any way, basically tells me that I am never going to use this pose for any figure I buy. This pose is never going to be used by me because this is so bad. This form is so terrible. It is the only pose that I genuinely believe is irredeemable. Like, you can make an argument for this stance. You can make an argument for that stance. I will
you can
never
make an argument
accept.
for any of them.
I will never accept
The
any
only
argument
way
for
I'd
this fucking
actually
pose.
use that stance, and I'd have to make an argument with myself, is I'd have to lose the sword, and I would have to be making like a soccer player, and I'd have to edit the head to change it.
Well, he almost looks like
Because that is the only way I'm going to place my foot like that.
Well, he
And
almost,
even then, isn't
If
your
I'm
other
taking
foot going
really
to be a bit
fucked up
wider?
Soccer kick.
Even then, isn't your foot going to, like, the foot that's on the ground, aren't you supposed to be tilting your heel a bit to where you're aiming the soccer ball?
So I'd be more. He's aiming. So I'd be following the line of that planted foot more, or like, I mean, even the other leg's way out of position.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way I'd be making something similar to that is if I'm trying to volley something.
if I might justify, I mean, and what you guys are saying are absolutely correct, obviously, but if I might justify this stance at all, it would be I just dodged something, right? Where your point is simply to get out of the way and not necessarily to, necessarily do anything other than just dodge, because it looks like a dodge more than a.
Yeah, and then I guess the piggyback for yours, the more the defensive kick, the pushing off of something where it's just that I just need to get you away for a second. I'm not really trying to kick you.
Yeah.
But if I may, because I'm fairly certain Matt and I know just a bit more about martial arts, is that whenever you're dodging with your feet, you don't dodge them outward unless simply lifting it up won't protect your leg. Because that's typically what you do when you dodge with your legs. You just step back or you raise. Because if you step back, your legs are still firmly planted on the ground, and for the most part, you still have your balance and you can still shift into an offensive movement at any time. And if you raise your leg, you're already halfway there to a front kick. So even those are two better options than just raising your leg up to the side. And that's the part that I am hammering home here. Because with this pose, you can still edit the torso a bit. You can edit the arms, and the shoulders, and the head. The legs are locked in place. You cannot move them at all. Like right here, like this is all I can edit. I cannot edit the legs. I cannot edit the hips. Nothing. Like, hell, like even if like,
he's definitely off balance. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, and hopefully further down the line when stuff starts getting better, they'll allow you to edit it more. But
yeah, hopefully when they get better at this and they start to get more and more confident in, I shouldn't say that, but like if they get confident enough to allow the players to edit like the arms and whatnot, maybe they'll also allow us to edit the legs. Mm-hmm. Like even if it's in such a way that it's similar to like the the base and the items that you can put on the base, where as long as it's on that on that platform, you can move the contact positions of the feet.
Mm.
You know, like and so many of these other poses are genuinely good. Like the soloist, that is a classic violin stance.
Or a bard. I could definitely see a bard.
That's the classic. Yeah, that'd be the classic bardic stance.
And
or the orator, the speech maker. That's the classic. I'm giving you a speech.
Yep.
You know, you've also got this one. That one has a bunch of personality to it, and you can have a bunch of poses that reflect the stance. You know, you've got this one, which is also decent enough. You know,
that's more of an
I don't know
archer
who would
stance,
use
though.
this, but you've got it.
Omen would use that. Come on, that's such a cleric stance right there.
You know,
Either cleric or I would even.
Every time I see that stance, though, it's the song from Titanic plays in my head.
Yeah. Fuck.
Every time I see a stance, that's the song that plays in my head.
Now you've got this stance, which it's called the heavy weapon, but quite frankly, I could see this as a more wide stance Dante taunt.
That's
the brawler.
Stance. That's a wrestler stance right there.
Yeah, that's your brawler right there.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you've got the here. Let me help you. Let me extend my hand in greeting. Now I like.
Well,
this
I hold
stance.
a knife in my other one.
Yeah,
right.
Like that would be a nice one actually. Where you've got the dagger in the other hand. It's kind of bent behind its back. Meanwhile, he's got his hand extended. That would be a nice pose.
Obviously, that particular character would have the noble background.
Of course. You know, you've got infantry, which more or less works all right, and like that works. I used that for Vanguard Veil. You know, you've got
I've
leaping.
used that for a couple of the characters I've designed. I've got that as their stance. The infantry.
That one is Fey. That one's for a Fey character. So like if
This,
like
that is like your Fey, your one couple like a few like your monks. You're more martial arts character. You're more that's that stance. The more that's to me.
I use this for De Grisniak, his original pose. It works very well with the crossbow guys.
Yeah.
You know, and pretty much any pose that has both feet firmly on the ground, you can make use of that in some way, shape, or form, and you can just fuck around with things. Like hell, even the roguish stance. You know, give this to some cockwaffle and you'll be fucking good to go.
The more I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to remember that phrase. I like that phrase. That's funny.
You know 3-point landing. I used that for Cisco. I used the 3-point landing for Cisco.
Yep.
I gave him a very feral stance.
Yep.
Tread lightly. I used this one for Valkyria. Because as soon as I put the scepter in her hand, it was it turned from a tread lightly to a, I am approaching you, good noble sir. How can we discuss matters of state? You know, like so many of these poses are genuinely workable.
Da 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 da. That See, that's your brawler stance right there. That's your monk stance.
On guard. Although, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, the feet should be reversed. You don't put, like, if you are fencing.
Yeah.
If you are fencing, and that's the on guard.
Not forward.
On guard is the fencing stance. So, if you are using that one-handed weapon, you put the same leg as your armed hand weapon forward.
Yes.
Like, ever since I noticed it and, like, started to edit the poses, I always do that with the on guard. I switch the fucking legs. I switch the legs like this, and then I switch the hands. I twist the torso around. I switch the hands so that the fucking right hand and the right leg are both facing forward. That's what I did with Odo, actually. And, of course, you've got this one, which is what we did with... we did that for fucking Breach.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw how much difficulty it was for that one.
Yeah, Pugilist.
Yep. Shambling. Crouching advance. Like, and then of course the one that I honestly don't think anyone would ever fucking choose, but
what do they call that one?
I mean,
Prone.
the only time I'd choose something like that is if I was making miniatures for like Dead or.
And even then, you could literally just give them
Yeah,
a
but
basic
do
pose
you
and
really
lay
want
them
to drop
down.
30, do you really want to drop $30 or $40 on a something? Oh, look, you're prone, you're dead. I mean,
That's the only time I'd do that is if I was going to go that mile and actually have like
You'd actually have a model.
If I actually
for
had
the
a DM
positions.
that wanted you to do that. That would be the only way I'd ever do something pick something like that, is if it was mandated.
And even then, I wouldn't pay for it.
No, I wouldn't pay for it. It'd be okay if I have to do it, I will put my character like that, but I really don't want to pay for it.
yeah.
And hell, you can even do this to make him sitting.
Yeah.
But because you can't fucking move the arms just fucking flat out like that. You can't edit the arms, so they're just kind of fucking. Oh hell! This even removes the cape.
My arms are boneless.
I have no spine. Look at that. Oh god. Oh, that can't be comfortable. Apparently, this character's a contortionist. Oh my god. Apparently, he just saw his chiropractor.
Oh no! I love it. The fact with that stance, it's the I have no waist. I'm bending at like my rib cage. I have not bent at the waist. I have bent right at the diaphragm and rib cage. That is where that's where my spine bends.
I know. I get it. I've got it. He's practicing his yoga.
Oh, no. You know what that is right there? That's I've come across a giant, and they taken me, went squish, and
twist.
That's the. I just got fucked up by a giant or a massive creature that just basically destroyed me.
Freaking dragon. This is what someone said. I'm going to put your feet forward one way and your head the other way.
Yeah,
That's the. I just tried to mess with a god, so they just go nope.
That was the. I just put my arm up my own ass.
Yeah. But anyway, that low sidekick is a piece of shit.
Yep.
Oh man, like again, like a low sidekick. Sure, like I can accept a low kick. Kick at the leg.
Yeah,
I like kicking at the legs. But change the
heel out, not the toe.
Yeah. No, you kicking the stuff with the flat of your toe is a very viable strike. It literally just depends on it depends on whether you're striking or stabbing.
To make it actually work, the only thing I'd love to be able to do is to rotate the planting foot.
Yeah, rotate the planted foot, and this is totally saved.
That's
like,
it.
It's still
literally
very
take
limited.
That planted foot and rotate it like 45 to 90 degrees.
Yeah,
45.
And that's
45. Yeah,
about 45. Yeah.
And even then, the pose itself is still very limited. But that alone would save so much about it. It would actually make this pose redeemable. Especially if you take the time to change the arms so that they're actually in the correct stance for such a kick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take that left arm and like bring it up a little bit, and then like twist it at the shoulder. Can you bring it up?
Yeah, if you twist it, if you bring it up a little bit more, and then same with that back arm. It's like that back arm to me, I wouldn't be pointing it that close into my body.
That's better.
That
like that back arm is not for me. Is not going to be that close into my body.
Now, obviously, we've got we got the crane grip, but
Oh.
oh wait.
That's another one where the middle finger would be nice.
There we go.
There's a lot of them where it'd just be like, "Yep, I'm going to use this."
There we go.
Ooh. Yep.
Now, obviously, I'd be
Yeah.
fixing the shoulder a bit with this new position.
But Faceless is a rogue. He's not a monk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we might be able to pull that off with
There we go.
Slim.
There we go.
That works a little bit more.
Yep. So again,
That's
like
more what I'm going to be doing.
again, this goes to show you a lot of good stuff, but without the movement of that planted foot, this just looks like he got pushed over and he's like, "Whoa!"
Kind of, yeah.
You know, it just I even tried. I just tried to fucking fix this and it just does not work. Does not work.
Nova.
Mm-mm.
I understand why they do it. Why they're limited on some stuff. Is some of that stuff is hard to code.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like, I am not gonna say that coding all of this stuff is a walk in the park. Like well, it would be a walk in the park for them because they know the language, but you know, like we have physical frames of reference out there in the form of martial arts manuals. You've got martial arts films, like.
I do wonder though if they
But then again,
if they did the foot to if they had it more as an eye for stability of the figurine itself.
and I what?
If they
I think some of that might be that's
like it's
the
they're paying,
easiest way to do it.
yeah, and it's a structural thing rather than a yeah, it's a structural thing rather than a position thing. So they have it there because they need that straight line when actually molding the character or something like that.
Now you might have you might have had a point there if it weren't for these fuckers. These figures and these animals are so thin that they have broken on me every single time they have been painted.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them are so thin and so narrow that they have broken at the neck. So, like, you can make it, like, you don't actually lose any of the, you don't lose any of the structure by twisting that foot. You don't lose any of the structure. Because it's ultimately the same depth. It's still the same
Ew,
pose.
look how he's holding the sword.
Alright. You fucking weirdo.
No, I'm just saying that who holds this? There you go. That's better.
Well, no, that one right there is literally just an angling of the fingers.
Yeah.
So that was made, I believe, because everyone else, like, if they wanted to make the sword like bend forward, they had to do this, and that just did not look right, like at all. You want to talk about dislocating?
He just broke his wrist.
You want to talk about dislocating? That's what you basically had to do in order to make the fucking sword point forward. So they just added this in there.
Stab somebody, I had to dislocate my wrist.
Mm-hmm. You look closely enough at the Draith model that I've got going on. That's basically what his wrist looks like.
Oh.
Not quite to that extreme extent, mind you, but like I had to do it to make it actually point the fucking sword forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, this last hour has basically just been touching up on Faceless and Breach. But I guess we've changed them up a bit. We've got them look even better than what they did before. So I guess because of the fact that I've got to order this stuff by tomorrow, otherwise the promo code's basically useless. Do you think I should get Breach and Faceless for those two or not. Because I already have Lark made up. I've already got him made up, and I could very easily just, either give him the one I've got, or I can order another one and give him that one.
It's up to you. I'll let you make that call because it'll be, because then you'll have given him 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want anyone to feel like they've been given more than given more than the others. Plus, I'm the one paying for them, and I am not made of money.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to, if you want to give them both, that's your call. I think Rory might have enjoyed Breach more than he did Lark, because I know that there were some aspects of Lark that he found frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, I think a lot of
that one's an easy pick. Like Lark is Lark was fine story wise as like an NPC, but he wasn't all that good of a choice for a player character's first outing.
Well, and Well, plus, like I said, I think he went like totally randomized when he created the character. So, I mean, rather than picking stuff, as for himself.
Mm-hmm. So Breach is obviously the better choice.
Yeah.
Say again, Matt.
Going with the I'm gonna roll all my stats instead of picking them myself. I mean, I've done a character like that where I've rolled for personality for all that, and I ended up with a really, really weird character that I ended up not playing because.
Was that with our sessions or was that with some other? Okay.
That was something else. I can.
It was with another session that I ended up rolling the character, and he ended up as like lawful evil, and then it was like one of my flaws was it was just weird because it was just like, yeah, these don't match lawful evil at all, or like my bonds. It was like, I will do anything for the people or for the innocents. I'm lawful evil. Huh.
Well, I suppose it depends on who you define as an innocent, I guess.
Yeah, it was like, or those that are getting oppressed. I am lawful evil. Okay, I can see that one a little bit more.
Yeah. You know what that is? You know what that is, Matt?
Yeah.
That's Antifa right there.
Yeah. I am completely against everything that I should be standing for because of that personality trait.
Oh man. Okay, so we've only got about 10 more minutes left before our time is completely up. So, how about I actually tell you guys the backstory for the unicorn finally?
All right.
I'd go for that.
Yeah.
Now, I know I've got it in the character sheet stuff. That's the evil campaign. I don't think I actually wrote it down, actually. That's interesting. Oh, well. But... I'm just looking through the notes to see if I've got it here. I don't think I do. But... I do not have it in the folder, so I'm just going to have to go with the character sheet stuff. Personality, we've got traits, ideals, flaws, bonds, and appearance. That one's not... Her background, in terms of the game, was an entertainer.
Oh?
Indeed.
What kind of entertainer are you talking about here? Are we talking about that kind of entertainer, or are we talking about
escort.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The unicorn was an escort.
Yep.
That actually works.
So what I have written down in the app of character sheets, is, years before the invasion of Albermir, Ozga was known only as an entertainer for those who could afford it. She would dance and sing for her charges, and made quite the pretty penny, but she herself was never happy. Now, I had written down somewhere, and I just can't find it. I just can't find it. That the reason why she fawned over Faceless as quickly as she did, and the way that she did, was because it was due to the actions of the Ghost Rangers that gave her the confidence to just stop being that. She took inspiration from your actions and your independence, so to speak.
Some good came of our actions? How dare it?
Oh my God. Yeah. We must stop this.
And I know, right? Because of how Faceless was being played, I used that as an anchor point to go, she liked him the most in terms of what he did. Like, literally lulling people into a false sense of security and stabbing them to death. Which is something that you could very easily do as a prostitute. So she just took inspiration from that, got sick and tired of it, took the next logical step, joined the military. And being noticed by someone who basically gave her freedom, made her feel indebted, so to speak.
Okay, hold on. So does this mean she was like a camp follower when they launched the crusade over in the new land, or was she from the other area?
Oh, she was from the same place that the other Dragonborn and Tiefling were. She sailed with one of the later ships and got to
as an escort.
Not necessarily as an escort, as in like news had reached the command, and the command was, by happenstance, being entertained by her when she heard about it. And the images in her head about what you guys did kind of fermented in her mind until she eventually decided that, yeah, I'm going to do that instead. It's got more dignity. I don't need to feel like shit every time I'm done with a mission. I'm going to do that.
So she actually wanted to join us then, huh?
Not necessarily you guys.
Oh, okay.
But definitely with him after he showed her that. So, but yeah, that was basically the long and short of it. I remember deciding how she lost her horn, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe she lost it when she, decided to join the fucking Legion, and when she made that decision, she was pleasuring someone, and he didn't like it, so he attacked her and cut her horn off or something. I don't know. Something stupid like that, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe she was thinking about joining the military in the first place, and then someone got rough with her and broke her horn off, and that was the turning point when she finally decided.
Well, the turning point was hearing about Faceless and the way he did it, the way he went about your missions. That was the turning point.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe it was like, if you've seen Fallout Nuka Break, maybe it would be in the same vein as Scarlet, where she deliberately made herself less attractive so that she would stop being hounded as a prostitute.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I wrote it down somewhere a while ago, but I can't find it, and I'm not going to just sit here in silence for 5 minutes trying to find it in the phone somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
But yeah, that was the story of the unicorn, or as her actual name was, her name was...
It was Ozga, wasn't it?
Ozga Tial.
Okay.
Ozga Tial.
Might be interesting that if we ran into her in the villain campaign later on.
I'm gonna say that you won't.
You could bring her back. Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that you won't. She had very little infatuation to your characters other than Faceless.
Okay.
Like, as far as she's concerned, she would have owed you respect, but she owed Faceless more than that. At least she
Okay.
felt like she did. She was definitely not mentally all there just because of the
Yeah.
life she led, but she still had the presence of mind to know what she wanted to do. She took inspiration from what you did, but she wanted to be with him for what he did.
Right. Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
yeah. And that would be the end of this version of Tales of the Lost Players. I think the only thing that I might do, not next week, but the week after that, maybe, is maybe do an episode on the most recent Lost Player.
Huh. Morgan?
Yep. Maybe do
Yeah.
an episode on Morgan one of these days.
Might be interesting.
It might be.
I
Yeah.
would aim, and I doubt that this would actually happen, but I would aim to have her player join us. I doubt it'll happen, but that would be the goal of it. Just talk about it, talk about the stuff that's happened since
Do you
then.
have her designed?
Oh, of course I've got Morgan's design in here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've got Morgan, I've got Odo, I've got the two antagonists that were a part of that little bundle. I've got them all.
Cool.
Yeah, it would have been nice to continue with that character, but
Yeah.
A character that genuinely worked vastly different than every other player did. You've got Alvin, and he's the glorified fucking prankster. Does not care. He will prank everybody. But with the exception of maybe Roland, Morgan was the only character with a genuine moral compass. As that was that was something other than, oh, this is nature, I'm gonna go with nature. Which is a compass even in itself, but
Yeah.
You can see how very easily a villain can sprout from that mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So, but yeah, hopefully I can get that in
thing
there.
is, the thing is, the villain mindset sprouts when you divorce the concept of intelligent species from nature. So when you start seeing them as not part of nature or as an aberration, then that's when the villainy sets in. So, at any rate, all right, gentlemen, I do need to get to bed. So.
All right.
I like both of those. They both turned out quite well.
And I'll be removing the Faceless and Breach versions from this current cart right here, and I will be replacing them with the poses and redesigns from here.
Okay.
And do you guys think that they are good and ready to order?
I would say.
yeah, I'd say so.
All right.
Besides the few tweaks that you're going to be making, yeah, I think those are good.
And what tweaks did you have in mind?
Besides, I think you were going to mess with the shoulder pauldrons or something on one of them, but the few things that we had talked about. But
I think we actually did that live.
Unless you already did those, then yeah.
Yeah, I think we just did them live actually.
Yeah.
I might take some time and save this, and then go through some of the other poses to maybe fix Breach's right arm, because this looks weird. Because this just looks weird. This is what it looks like. This would just look like untwisted, and I can bend it down, but that fucks up with the fucking wrist guard there.
Yeah.
But if I do this, it just kind of hangs out. And I much prefer the down low. I much prefer that to the other. Because this one's almost got like a Legend of Zelda Link arm back, ready to strike pose,
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for joining me, gentlemen.
Yes.
This was the This was the founding members Lost Players. So
Yes.
I guess yeah.
All right.
I guess that's it.
All right.
Good night, gentlemen. Good session.
Good night,
And I will
everybody.
see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See y'all on Wednesday.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.